Greg, somebody's gonna hurt themselves on this chair. Somebody's gonna hurt themselves on that chair. I sat in it and I thought, this chair can't hold me. And I'm not like, and I stood up. I sat in one of these chairs and not. Say hi, Maggie.
What are you doing?
Nice. Did you show him your hat?
What's your hat?
Tell him what you decided to look like today. A farmer.
Oh, yeah, put it on. Let's see.
You want to see?
Oh, yeah. Hey, can I try them?
Do you think it's gonna fit him?
Yeah, I think it fits.
Do you think
Oh,
you're?
look at those.
She has.
I didn't see boots like that.
She has a matching swimsuit, so we were just at the Y, so she'd have her hat.
Those are great. Oh, those are your new ones.
Yeah, she had old ones.
Oh.
Yeah, when she said she's growing so much, her old ones don't fit anymore.
Oh, no. That's right. And those, those won't fit in a few months either, probably.
I thought they're pretty big, so I'm hoping I can get next fall out of them.
Yeah.
But I don't know, she's growing.
Oh, yeah. You got a little boo-boo?
Hey, your Band-Aid stayed on for the whole time at the pool.
Thank you so much.
Well, yeah, we don't know how you got it.
Sweet.
She explained that they're not for old.
What? I thought we weren't getting new boots.
Other ones were old.
And all of you is grown.
She's still in the car. Well, I didn't bring her in because
Alderman,
she
how
was
are you?
But we're gonna get her shoes. Elsa did not have shoes.
Oh, do you have, does pool Maggie have shoes? For after? Do you present tonight, Blake?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah, 5:30.
Maggie, she's gonna tell us about
About the
the
library.
budget for the library. You can tell Miss Gwen
Yes,
what
she is.
you can tell Miss Gwen what you think of these meetings.
Feel
What are
free.
they?
Feel free.
Oh, you want more elephant and piggy books? Is what she's saying. She
Oh.
wants more elephant and piggy
She
books.
loves-
in the
She
library.
wants more elephant piggy books. Yeah, yeah.
Literally on
She can
every
make-
elephant and
she
piggy
can
book,
make the
so we
magic
don't
happen.
need more. She does really like the Amelia Bedelia though. That would be a great idea. Should you send Mo Willems a letter and say, please write more elephant and piggy books? Or do you want someone to get Harold? Every time we read an elephant and piggy, she goes. I'm like, I do. I can just buy Harold the dog. Are you learning how to read?
How old are you now?
Big 3-year-old. We did her.
I have 2 3-year-old grandchildren.
It's gonna be fun.
A little boy and a little girl. Anna and Zane. Yes.
Sure.
Sure. Do you want me to hold your hat? Want to wear it or not? No. I didn't say that. She goes to farmers.
Go. Well, a lady farmer can do what they want to do.
That's what I said.
You can do what you want to do. And you've got some sparkles in your hat anyway, so you have to keep the theme going.
Yeah, your hat is sparkly.
Everything's sparkly.
I have to do a shake test in all the stores to see how much glitter actually comes off of.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So it's supposed to be from our house. That's why I tried. I didn't do it
Good, how are you?
Oh, it was,
Good.
we were covered.
Glitter does float.
You can walk up to that if you want to. Yes, you may. I'll be right here, baby.
How are you?
Hey, Steph coming?
Yes.
I'm right here. You're
She left SBC for those.
Maggie, go this way.
Back doors,
Maggie.
and I don't know if she's coming.
Maggie, Mr. Larry's talking to you.
She's coming back in there before she comes here.
Just looking for Greg.
Yeah. Well, yeah, well, if she gets in here and she doesn't come back up there, call me, okay?
Thank you. How old are you now? You 16? You driving? Driving now? You driving your car? Okay.
She used to say she's 16.
Oh, did she?
She'd go because I can drive and I can drink coffee and I can drink soda. And I was like, no, you
Close
can't.
enough.
But in her mind's eye, I'm that girl.
I was like, God, I hope you're severely empty. Like, I hope you didn't drink very much of it.
Yeah, yeah, by all means. Oh, yeah. By all means.
She says she likes, she'll sometimes have a little. What if I offer to her? She goes, no, I can't drink coffee.
Delicious in it, so it's.
You're welcome. Hey, there's been days that I'm like, maybe have, we weren't getting it, and we were like, drink some Coke, please, like, just think like we're in line. Make it for 10 minutes. Come on. Just here, here. I forgot.
It doesn't
Three
count.
refills, what am I gonna do? It's not starting yet. We have a lot of time. We got here early. Normally we would hang out in his office, but because it's so cold, we can't come out.
Oh,
Tell Dad we put it on before we get here.
I've been practicing like 3 years. I know.
Done it before, man. Do it every day.
Oh, yeah.
How's everybody doing?
You know, as I'm talking, everybody's good. Yes,
Don't
everybody.
ask me, Father.
I will, I will. You talk to Denise today? Is she still going to land?
Yes.
I think she told me that she was still going to.
Did you tell me
Yeah,
that?
yeah, yeah. I think it shouldn't cause her stress. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That'd be it, that's a great idea.
One day that will be you. Like, please don't rush.
Tim came to see if you'd made it here, or if you.
Oh, no, I,
Okay. Well, he wanted to know if she works at SBC, because he was like, the door is open, but she's gone, and I don't know if she's coming, and I'm like, she's going to
It's windy. So I got
Don't start, please. And I thought we had a mystery in library.
That's what I did.
Nick's not coming.
Oh, okay.
Want me to get another chair? The game's on? All right. You're like that. Last year I got to do it 7 days after my appointment. With the budget, with the budget. I can't fit in the chair. Yeah, no, that's fine. I don't know. Oh, yeah. It will be bigger for you.
Yeah, one of them is. That better?
That's what it was. So, if you want money, you can talk to me. So,
You want to go to Target? Oh my God. I've seen memes about that, Greg. She wants to go to Target. Or we say we had to do. Thank you. She does it. Pretty good, how are you? Okay. Good to see you. You'll have to get up. I do. I think I'm good.
Hello, attention. All who's participated in tonight's budget meeting, who's sitting at the table, that microphone, you have to have it right centered in front of your face in order for me to hear you and get the good recording. So remember, don't be afraid to go up to it. It won't bite you. Just talk into it. Okay? Thank you very much. Have a good show. Oh, and one last thing. If you have someone beside you going to talk, slide the mic over to them and make sure it's centered to their mouth. Thank you.
Ride to come. I used to get out of my, I get out of kindergarten and ride the But I think that closing statement about the one yesterday is so great. Just to give an example of the leverage, let's talk about leverage. Or like, because it's hard for you to say that you have to do the great response because you don't. It's like,
How's it going?
you looking pretty cash today. That's good. I like it.
Mr. Chair, the same as last night. Okay, microphones are hot.
I have no idea. Oh, he's going. Okay.
Good. Cox is on.
Just him?
Chuck's not here. She don't drink water, so.
A little bit shorter than
I know, right? Just a little.
a little bit shorter than him.
I don't have that on.
That's because she has to take it back here first. Okay.
Three strong tonight? Pet's got a big group here.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to reconvene the budget workshop. It is Thursday, January 15th, 5:30. If you'll all rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
You woke us up.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, will you call the roll?
Yes. Alderman Cox. Here. Alderman Gregory.
Here.
Alderman Williams.
Here.
Alderman Rockford.
Here.
Alderwoman Purchase.
Here.
Alderwoman Notriano.
Here.
Alderman Carlson.
Here.
Alderwoman Conley. Alderman Donelan.
Here.
Alderman Hanauer.
Here.
Mayor Misty Busher.
Present.
Chairman, a quorum is present.
The chair will entertain a motion to permit Jeff Cox, Alderman Ward 1, to participate remotely.
So moved.
Motion is second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. The ayes have it.
Nay.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Just
Late-
making sure he's paying attention, Chair.
yeah, he's paying attention all right. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight, we're reconvening the budget workshop, and we have before us this evening, we're going to hear from Library, Office of Planning and Economic Development, Human Resources, Public Works, and the Office of Budget and Management. And I believe first up this evening is the Lincoln Library. The floor is yours.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Gwen Harrison, and I'm the director at Springfield's Public Library, Lincoln Library. With me today, and I'd like you guys to give a wave, is Micah Moran, the fiscal officer, Emily Stone, she is our assistant director, and Stephanie Martin, she's the manager of SVC. And we are excited to present the fiscal year 27 budget summary on behalf of Lincoln Library and Mayor Misty Busher. All right. You know, they say the third time is a charm, and this is my third time giving this, but it never gets any easier. It never gets any easier, despite how much you practice. So let's go ahead with this. Currently, the head count at Lincoln Library is at 46. I am happy to report that the library is fully staffed. I must tout for a community of this size. It must be noted, as you will see unfold during this presentation, that they are indeed a dream team in terms of the breadth and width of services and programs provided. For fiscal year 27's budget, the total request is for $6,311,139. This is a total increase of 0.66% over last year's request. Regarding contractual services, the increase is due to 2 new proposed internships and the Director Series. We are seeking interns for Sangamon Valley Collection and our makerspace, the CoLab. There was a modest increase in the commodities line due to program materials and office supplies. The equipment line decreased by $221,700 due to the mobile branch expenses going away. Travel increased by 10% due to the emphasis and importance of professional development and continuing education. Without these avenues of engagement, new programs and initiatives at the library would be stagnant. As usual in the world of business, personal services, which encompasses wages, salaries, and benefits, remains the lion's share of budget expenses. I am proud of the diversity that is reflected in the makeup of the library team. We are 67% female and have a team count of 16 minorities. This is 35% of the library workforce. Given our population of 114,000 plus, we are woefully below the FTE of our sister city libraries. In comparison, our expenditures per capita is less than half than that of Champaign Public Library and Urbana Free Library. Now we'd like to take a little look at data highlights from the past 5 years. It should be noted that circulation has dropped somewhat in fiscal year 24 and 25. I attribute that to the rise in e-book streaming checkouts. But the real answer may be a mixture of other unknown factors as well. I really believe that both formats, books and e-books, have pros and cons. I do not believe that the printed book will become obsolete. Digital circulation is on the rise and has increased significantly since fiscal year 21 and 22. Programming remains at the heart of Lincoln Library. The number of programs and attendance is rising. The huge increase in program attendance in fiscal year 21-22 was due to the offering of virtual programs at the height of the pandemic. Technology, Wi-Fi sessions, and computer usage go hand in hand. The numbers bear out the popularity of offering the public computing center and its use. The number of registered cardholders is quite impressive and has returned almost to the fiscal year 2021 levels. As you can see by the numbers, the pandemic introduced patrons to ebooks and streaming content. The demand for these services has continued to increase. My concern is keeping up with the demand due to the publisher's stranglehold on pricing and accessibility. The availability of ebook and streaming services impacts the budget. We can show a return on investment quite readily. We save the taxpayers money by offering this content. We are getting our money's worth when you factor in the cost per use of online databases. The money saved by our patrons are monies that can be poured back into the community. We are pleased that the mobile branch is operational in all 10 wards. The outreach team is making a difference in this community. They are responsive and customer-facing at each stop they make. They continually evaluate what stops are the most accessible to the community and will adapt as necessary. The additional services by the mobile branch has not supplanted other outreach activities. You can still find our team at the Farmers Market, at Build Springfield, and many other events. Lincoln Library is ahead of the curve regarding the latest legislation that went into effect January 1st, 2026, regarding the training of library personnel on the use and application of Narcan. Deputy Chief of Security Nick Klatfelder has ensured that all library staff received this life-saving training for the last 3 years or more. The library's book supplier, Baker & Taylor, unexpectedly went out of business after close to 200 years of service. They announced they were shuttering operations as of October 25. There are very few library suppliers that operate on the same scale, and they are absolutely flooded with new library customers and are struggling to expand their operations and workforce to keep up. Lincoln Library went through the city's bid process and has selected a new book supplier. The Technical Services Department is still establishing new workflows to deal with this major industry-wide shift. So, if you are wondering, where are my new books, this is the explanation. I'd like to give you a few highlights of youth services. In October, we hosted a K-pop Demon Hunters party that was a massive success. We had 170 people participate in crafts, snacks, and dancing. We had excellent numbers for our summer reading. We had over 500 participants total, and this included adults. Our outdoor story times at Lincoln Memorial Garden continue to be popular, and we are hoping to offer the program this spring for the 3rd year in a row. We have also offered many other successful programs, which include family story time, teen book boxes, and weekend take and make craft kits. The Sangamon Valley Collection is a treasure trove of information, not only about the Springfield community, but also about City of Springfield departments. Recent examples include displays about Sangamon County history, housed at the Sangamon County Complex, and the Lake Springfield History Hunt in conjunction with CWLP. The SVC intern from this past summer uploaded over 300 images from our collection to the Illinois Digital Archives for free online access. The CoLab continues to gain momentum with programs, open hours, and just simply fun. Come and get your creativity on at the CoLab. You are welcome to play, create, and imagine. We are increasing the number of programs offered to learn how to use all the fabulous equipment, including the following: the laser forge printer, the 3D printer, our sewing and embroidery machines, our podcasting booth, Cricut, and more. Regarding the strategic plan, community staff and board member surveys were conducted. Focus groups met with a consultant to share their visions of Springfield future. Interviews were also conducted with a variety of community members. All in all, we now have an 88-page learning report that will be used with all the input from above to begin to craft the strategic plan. NPR Illinois is celebrating 50 years of being in business. The display is housed at the Lincoln Library. An amazing debut reception was also held at Lincoln Library. This was one of the largest turnouts this year. Regarding our social media highlights, we have seen a 109% increase in interactions, a 58% increase in followers, a 235% increase in link clicks. With the addition of a dedicated public relations manager, our social media presence has increased dynamically. We have had a 109% increase in interactions between Facebook and Instagram. Our followers have doubled in size. This number is something to be proud of. We have had posts go mildly viral. Kudos to Lana. Okay, regarding our youth services modernization project, this has been quite an adventure. We have been meeting diligently with the architect and moving this project in a positive direction. We hope to begin construction in the fall of 2026. Beautiful spaces and places are in the works. All right, regarding new initiatives, we are looking forward, if approved, to 2 summer interns to work in the Sangamon Valley Collection and the CoLab, respectively. There are always additional projects to be performed in both departments that they are unable to address in the day-to-day grind. Interns make a difference. Libraries are also associated with the arts. The Director Series will include music, dance, visual, and the culinary arts. The RFID security upgrades, or radio frequency identification, will improve efficiency for staff and patrons by enabling faster checkouts, streamlined inventory management, and better security. With the Wagner bequest, it is a plan to upgrade furniture in all public service areas and purchase a vehicle for outreach that will help expand our programming reach efficiently and effectively in our community. Thank you. Do you have any questions?
Any questions of the director this evening? Alderwoman Conley.
Thank you. First, apologies for being late. Director, I definitely wanted to be here for your presentation. I always look forward to it. I just want to congratulate you. I've heard good things about the mobile library getting out. People are thrilled to see that around, and I'm looking forward to all of the new initiatives you have for this year. I agree. I just wanted to ask one quick question about the interns. What kind of degrees do you look for? What kind of backgrounds do you look for those students?
Okay, so
I love a director who is willing to pass the mic to staff.
Hi, thank you. So last year, Sangamon Valley Collection had an intern, and it was part of the mayor's internship program, and they were college students, and we were looking for someone with a history degree for Sangamon Valley Collection or associated degree, but this year we're specifically looking for a history degree, and I'm not sure, or someone pursuing a history degree, I guess you would say. And, you know, UIS has a public history program, so, and other places do too. And I'm not sure about the CoLab, who specifically they're looking for.
that's all right. So Patrick Hawk is our manager there, and he's looking for someone with some technical expertise regarding the equipment that's in the CoLab, and also regarding some of the things that we need to do around the library to update our technology. So he's looking for that kind of background there.
Wonderful. No, that's exciting. I think it's a nice way to introduce someone to working for the city. Maybe we can lure another employee as we can keep you fully staffed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Alderman Gregory.
I just want to say thank you, Ms. Gwen, for all you do and all of your staff do. You know, I know that there's been some people that reached out to me about just different things that they can rent down at the library. So that has been a plus, and you know, you often forget about that. So your social media presence is important. Absolutely. So
Doing a wonderful job.
they are,
They don't
absolutely.
ever ask me to be in any of the videos, though.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Mayor Busher.
I just want to let everyone know that Gwen did not sing her own praises or her team's praises. They put on quite the program to commemorate the 1908 race riots, and you've done that 2 years in a row, and it's just getting bigger and better, and I want to point that out because you didn't give yourself a pat on the back, so I want to do that to you and your team. So thank you for what you do with that.
Thank you so much. It will be amazing this year as well.
Yes, you just keep growing it, so thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Anyone else have a question of the director? Director and your team, you've changed the complexion of the library. It is a true resource for the community, and keep up the good work, and anything you need from us, you let us know. Thank you very much. Okay, I guess we'll move along. We'll give Tony, we'll let Tony tell us when he's ready, but the next up is the Office of Planning and Economic Development.
It's part of my script.
Tony, are you ready?
Ready?
He's ready.
Crane your neck too much.
Okay, next on the agenda is the Office of Planning and Economic Development. Director, you're up.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Go ahead to the first slide. Thank you for this opportunity to present our budget and share our accomplishments and some of the things that we're looking to continue to build on. Last year at this time, I'd been appointed just a week before this budget workshop and was working on filling my previous position as the grants administrator, and our economic development coordinator, Julia Griffin, on the end here, had just joined us as well. And so we have some new team members tonight here at the head table, and I'm happy to have them introduce themselves and tell you a little bit about the programs that they administer in OPED. So again, our goal tonight is not only to tell you about our budget and to tell you about our accomplishments, but to introduce you to the faces that your constituents hear and see, hear on the phone, see, and we want to be more and more out in the community, and these are the folks that you're going to see out there. So I'll start with our community development coordinator.
Hi, my name is Julia Cave. I oversee Housing and Community Development Division for the department and related programs like our emergency home repair program and our lead paint abatement program. The division is responsible for the city's entitlement funds that we get from HUD, including reporting, budgeting, planning, and the federal grants that we manage are Community Development Block Grant, Home ARPA, and LED.
Our economic development office.
Hi, my name is Julie Griffin. I serve as the operations coordinator for economic development. Some of the programs I oversee and manage are our Cannabis Grant Assistance Program, which is available to homeowners and businesses. I oversee our city STIF districts and our neighborhood improvement program, as well as I serve as the zone administrator for Enterprise Zone for Sangamon County and Springfield. Our department also works with the Historic Sites Commission and the Economic Development Commission too. So we oversee both those boards.
Hi, I'm Jared McCormick. I'm a grants coordinator for OPED. I oversee and manage grant reporting for all of the city's departments, as well as keeping a portfolio of upcoming funding opportunities and assisting with those applications where needed across all city departments. A recent victory that we had just yesterday was announced that we were awarded a significant grant for the beach house, Center Park. So for Center Park improvements, that was through the Department of Natural Resources. So that's all I have.
And again, none of this would be possible without these team leaders, as well as the folks that I've brought along this evening. All of our staff was able to join us, with the exception of one who had family priorities, and again, we always stress that in OPED as well. So I'm going to turn, and I think my voice is loud enough, but I'm going to turn and just call them out by name, and I promised them they don't have to make speeches, but I did want you to see, again, those faces. So many people comment about our willingness to help, our willingness to listen, our willingness to learn, our willingness to continue to improve. And these are the folks that are doing that work, face-to-face with people across the table, with their applications or their questions, on the phone answering questions, helping them with inquiries, and so on and so forth. So without further ado, in the first row here, we have, or in the second row, I guess, Sherzelle. Sherzelle is a community program specialist in our community development agency division. So she's taking a lot of those incoming calls when people are calling about something that's really could be catastrophic with their home, or something that is beyond their wish list, but really needs to be a repair for their safety and their health. So she takes those calls and beyond. Next we have Ken. Now, how many of you have walked into OPED and seen his smile and seen his greeting? Or more so, people tell us repeatedly over the phone they can hear his smile through the phone. So we're very proud and thankful to have Ken as part of our team, as I am thankful for everyone. In the next row, Willisha is our economic development coordinator. She joined us recently from CWLP, and we couldn't be prouder that they passed her on to us. They didn't pass her. I would have begged for her had I known the skill set that she was bringing. But she is, again, working with our homeowners, with our cannabis grants, working specifically with those TIF neighborhood improvement grants. And again, always learning. We had her out in the field at our community room at the fire station. Again, just like the week she started, she was sitting across the table meeting with, again, your constituents out in the community, so we could get them involved and tell them more about the programs that we have at OPED. Next, we have Sharaska. Sharasha is our new, and I'm going to call her our newest team member, but she is our professional planner for the city of Springfield. She spends her time in our office, in an office within OPED. However, she works on behalf of the entire city, collaborates in helping to put the mayor's vision and all of the things across the city, looking at how we can do things and how we can all continue to improve our community for our citizens. Next up, we have Allie. Allie is working with Jared in grants. Just as we talk about all of the paperwork that goes on in OPED, one of the main things that we always are working with across Allie's desk is our compliance, making sure that our grant reporting is done, making sure that she's that nudge, be it with Public Works, be it with the police, be it with other agency across the city, reminding them that reports are due, collecting that data, getting it in, and getting it back. And there's nothing more rewarding during the day. Like today, we got an email from our Urban Forestry Commission saying that the grants had been accepted and the money was on the way. The reimbursement was on the way. So those are the exactly things. She's got a big calendar in her office. At any given time, you can walk in and see what's due and when it's due. And then in the back row, we have one of our housing rehab specialists. Again, Matt is at home with his family, so he couldn't join us tonight. But we do have Tom here. Tom brings a wealth of experience personally as far as his own ability as his background in construction and being more than a handyman, but things like that. So he brings that eye to the job, as well as a understanding of working with contractors and working with our homeowners as they assess what's needed, and they walk potential contractors through those homes and to look about the projects that we're going to have. So again, none of this, again, could happen out of our office without the support from one of OBM employees, our fiscal officer, Courtney. And she's here in the front row. And again, we couldn't do it without her. Her very, very patient and supportive guidance as we look at processes for reimbursement, as we look at documentation that's needed. Courtney is that go-to for us, and she's been very instrumental as many of our staff, including myself, learn some things and start to put those things into motion so everything goes more and more smoothly all the time. So, but I wanted to bring everybody because we are that forward-facing agency. As you'll, next slide, please. As you'll see, we only have that head count of 12. In the past, we did have a head count of 13.5. That included a shared position. That half position was shared with OBM when it came to kind of some grant financial reporting. That is the position that's moved, we'll be looking at more so just out of OBM. And that 13th person was the employee that was hired initially to kick off and to spearhead. Dr. Creo Rogers spearheaded recompete as an employee. So that was that 13th person. So we're really back to where we were at that 12 head count. We are always working a lot collaboratively, and my goal is also to look at some cross-training so that, and to look at how we're keeping our files, our electronic files and hard files, so that if one of us does need to step in for another, we can continue to keep serving that constituent, we can continue to keep that grant on track, because we are working collaboratively as a team, and there's some cross-training. So, just a party of 12 taking all of this on. Next slide. There you go. Thank you. I want to get some highlights in our budget, because you will see that there are some line items that look like a lot of changes in percentages. So bear with me. I just want to hit a couple of these. Awards and grants line in particular. The FY 2027 budget uses all available fund balances in the TIF fund. The 2026 held reserves in some funds. This strategy that we worked with Courtney and with Dallas Whitford was to look at the fact that we can avoid as many supplemental appropriations and transfers, so that we have those funds. So when projects come up, we have those funds already in the fund balance, so we can look at making sure that those projects can happen as they should in a timeline, that we're not coming in with more appropriations and transfers to make that happen. So that's a little bit of strategy that we're doing with that budget, and that's why you see a differential there. Travel. I'll tell you, the first time I saw this line item, I thought, goodness, where do we get to go? There's only 12 of us, but we'd go a long ways on the amount that was budgeted initially in the travel budget. The travel budget now accurately reflects the fact that this line is only used with the city for employee travel. Previously, the budget included relocation of households that are required by HUD to leave their homes, and we put them up in local hotels during that lead paint abatement. Those travel funds have been reflected now in the awards and grants line. So really, we're just moving them, but that's why you see that big differential there in travel. And unfortunately, it taught me that we weren't all going to the Sphere in Vegas for a big fancy trip. And of course, we wouldn't do that. But that travel line was just not as visually accurate, and then we would need to make transfers from it. So this time we have set it up so that it does reflect that it is an award and grant. HUD does pay for that as part of the lead paint abatement program, but we are now putting that in the appropriate line item, okay? Some other things, personal services I already talked about, that change in that half position and the recompete manager. Commodities looks as if it decreased as we have contractual work done now for lead testing, and we do still maintain some supplies there, so people like Tom and Matt can still go out and do that follow-up testing to make sure that home has indeed become safer for that family, actually very safe for that family, once that work is done. So those are some things that I wanted to point out. Finally, I also should highlight permanent improvements. What that line describes, these funds are for the planned multi-use trail and gateway to the city and the Dirksen commercial TIF, and Public Works manages those funds, but they are held within the OPED budget. Okay, thank you. Next slide, please. I think this is one of the most impactful ways to look at OPED, where you see the blue, the kind of, I call it denim blue color, which is the largest chunk there. 65% of TIF funds, 4% cannabis tax, 2% of our corporate grants and awards contracts, corporate operations 3%, federal and state grants 26%. So again, as you can see, this is how it's broken out in OPED. All of these funds show that we are moving funds with out of our you know, these are not operating just in the OPED funds. These are funds going back out into the community is the way our the way our office operates, excuse me. And this provides the breakdown. Any differential that is noted, FY26, the corporate grant category did also include Pillsbury. So that has been a decrease there in, if you were to compare FY26 to FY27 on that. Otherwise, not a whole lot of overall changes. Next slide, please. Community funding. This is really what I've alluded to. This is what it's all about. This is why I brought all of our team members tonight with me. 96.6% of the OPED annual budget, or $29.2 million of the proposed FY 2027 budget, goes directly to the needs of our community. So that is what we do in OPED. Those funds are administered, federal funded programs, grants that are state, federal, local, private grants, TIF redevelopment projects, corporate grants, and each funding source, and we talk about this all the time, but I can't stress it enough, each one of those funding sources, and that's why it is so important, I think, one of our continued goals in OPED to have some cross-training and have cross-understanding of what our programs are, not only to tell the community about them, but also to make sure our team knows about the various programs and what's required in them, because each of them has their own external standards that we must follow, the plans, the statutory requirements, and reporting standards. And we have to follow all of those along with what we're putting in place on behalf of the city, accounting practices, and the processes that we're putting in place for record keeping in OPED. All of that goes into every single bit of paperwork that's administered, every single bit of award that's given out and administered through OPED has a myriad of requirements that we must follow. And we're trying to do the very best of that and make sure that we are following those. Community grants detail. This breaks it even further down for you. We look at our CBDG funds, our home funds, the funds that Julia told you about, Julia Cave told you about, the TIF funds, they're broken down on there, our corporate grants, our cannabis grants. Right now, as of right now, we just have one grant that's specifically held by OPED with a subrecipient of Visions 1908, and that is noted on there for that program that you've heard some about, and you'll be hearing more about as they kick off and keep going forward. But Visions 1908, that is the only grant that's held specifically within OPED. As Jared alluded to, he works across the city agencies in researching, putting together the parts and pieces, which are many, to apply for grants, and then to keep them in compliance with reporting. So, and we do that across the city, but there's one grant held within OPED, so that's what's reflected there. Previously, if you think about it, there were grants that included AmeriCorps until the federal funding for AmeriCorps ceased toward the end of the program in the past. And then we also had the Brighter Futures grant that was in collaboration with District 126, or 186, excuse me. 186 was also included at one point in there, okay? We would be remiss not to state that this community funding, we still don't know exact numbers in some cases of what we're going to be receiving in some of this. We do know that the home funds are down, they're predicting $500,000.
Yeah, if we don't get them again in FY26, then we'll lose $500,000 of our entitlement funds. But nothing's, they're still negotiating the budget, so nothing is set.
Nothing is set.
Probably hear something in March.
So again, that's just something we anticipate and something that we're planning for, and something that we don't want to plan for the worst, but we're also anticipating what we do, and we want to make sure that people understand that all of the funds that we talk about and that we need to keep administering, we need to keep promoting these funds, but all of it are based on the funding that is allocated to us after those decisions are made. All of that leads to the fact that I think one of the biggest things that we started immediately and it has been done throughout OPED's years, but pretty much something that I have always done in my career, and our staff has been more than willing, and I'll tell you, I don't think a week barely goes by, I want to say, that we're not out in the community doing some sort of presentation by request or our request. More so, can we come and speak to your group? We've been at neighborhood associations, we've been at community organizations, we've done conference speaking. Julia Griffin was actually asked by the Illinois Municipal League to present some of the TIF programs that Springfield has done successfully. We have done, Julia did moderated comprehensive planning, CBDG meetings out in the community to really truly hear people's response. We held them out in the community. We didn't hold them here in council chambers. We held them out in the community at places that were accessible and easy locations for people to get to. We did the same thing with the Cannabis and Neighborhood Grant. I referenced it earlier. Walisha, our economic development officer, about 2 days on the job, was in the firehouse with us, meeting with constituents, telling them about the rollout of the Neighborhood Improvement Grant, part of the TIF program, that we could tell people about it and show them what neighborhoods were included. We always take advantage of things that the city's doing, from Build to our Earth Fair, Lake Springfield anniversary, and one of our favorite ones out front with Halloween trick-or-treating. They laugh. We've given out a lot of bubbles because we like to say, hopefully we can blow your troubles away like bubbles through the funding that we can help with in OPED. We do have one position open that was actually became open in the time that we've done these slides, not due to anything other than it was the best choice for that employee at this time. So we are actively hiring an additional community program specialist that, again, will be that one that you're going to hear on the phone and meet across the table with, assisting in our community development office, part of our office. And then we've made those office spaces. We've always had a conference room. We've just done some things, just make it a little more user-friendly, so that we can use the screen, so that we can use tables in different arrangements, so we can meet literally across the table and we can both see the paperwork at the same time. We've put up a separate area within the other suite at OPED where, again, people can meet when people come in to sign. And Ken helps to notarize things. We've got a separate meeting place for that that's in a private place that people feel comfortable. And again, we're just doing more and more ways to try to meet with people where they are and where they need us to be. Our community outreach and engagement efforts, we feel just so strongly that are essential for building relationships, building trust, and ensuring that we have long-term success. We know there's a lot of barriers to still break down, but we're working on helping people know what's available, how to apply for it, and understanding those applicable expenses, what documentation is needed for reimbursement. We've also identified, because we heard the requests, we also identified some local bank resources for grantees who may need assistance with grant-funded costs prior to reimbursement, and set up some internal processes allowing for a percentage of the awards if a contractor requires a down payment. So those are some things that we're trying to put into place, some things that we're starting to roll out to offer, again, to break down some of those barriers and continue to provide people with resources. All of that said, the numbers, the pie chart statistics, the accomplishments that I talked about, some of the changes in our line items, I think the best way to tell you what we're doing in OPED is the next 3 slides. This one may be a little hard to read. I'll read it. Dear Raven and Matt, Emergency Home Repair Program. Thank you for sending your roofing crew and related workers the finishing trim gutter installers. They have made the house look sleek. Neighbors have commented to me on how great it looks. What an excellent program. From what you mentioned, it seems that you are also mentoring some of the young members of the roofing crew. I so appreciate what they have done. I am retired OTR rehab therapist. Thank you, sincerely. And I know she wouldn't mind us using her name, but I did redact that tonight. We have a bulletin board with a number of handwritten notes like this on it in OPED right now. Next slide, please. Pictures speak 1,000 words, I think, too. Look at the differences in these 2 pictures compared side by side to each other. And here's some more numbers for you. Completed or scheduled 43 roofs, 23 lead paint abatements, 16 HVAC systems, 14 hot water heaters, plus numerous ADA accessible showers and exterior wraps. And that's just touching on just a quick glance across the board. We didn't pull out all our spreadsheets to do this. This is a quick glance. I'll tell you, at one point, Walisha said the other day, we have 21 applications just sitting there that need additional paperwork, and that we're working with those individuals. But that's one of the things, you think about 43 roofs, driving around town and thinking about 43 roofs, and people that are warm and comfortable with that new roof on right now, as the cold weather hits again tonight. HVAC systems, the same thing. Keeping people healthy and warm or cool and comfortable in their home is one of our priorities. These are impacts to homeowners and their families. The next slide. May not be glamorous to show someone a bathroom photo, but this I thought was pretty impactful too. That individual now has an accessible shower and probably can call their home home a little bit longer than they could have if they'd been stepping over that bathtub every day. The other one is a series of photos. Look at the starting roof. I know it's a little bit smaller for to see. Look at the starting roof, and then as we move down the photos and see the impact that, again, that person's roof repair made in their home. Not only just an aesthetic appearance. We're talking that person is in a home that's now dry, a home that won't build up mold, a home that is comfortable, and a home that they can be proud of, because we know that, again, that builds community pride, that builds economic development, that builds the neighbors wanting to do the same thing and to continue to live and thrive in that neighborhood. So that's what we like to do in OPED every day. That's who we are and what we do. And I just thank you for your time, and we'll answer any questions that we can, or we'll get you further information following this workshop.
Alderman Gregory.
Yes, thank you. So I just want to compliment the team. You know, as you know, we definitely always have barriers. It's always going to be our job to look at them and try to break those things down at whatever level. Progress throughout history have shown that all things written wasn't fair, and we continue to change those things. We only got here by changing those things together, and we'll continue to do that. So any of my questions or things is just to understand it and try to help break down those barriers so you guys can keep delivering to the community. We get feedback from our community, you know, on all departments, particularly this one, and it's always favorable, and the things that we need to fix, we don't have a problem talking about and working through it. Some things we can, some things we can't, and we're going to keep doing that. So I just had a few questions. So are the totals on the TIF, are these the total amounts, or are they just what we're requesting for this year? Is it was spent, allocated, or anything like that? Page 7.
Is that the right slide you're talking about?
7. Or it's 7 in our packet anyway.
Yep.
Are those? I just want to know. Are those the totals?
Yeah, that's the amount we have budgeted for new projects. It's always a fluid number because it's really dependent on like the revenue we anticipate to generate and also pending projects of when we're going to pay them out. But that is a good idea of what we have for FY27.
Okay. And can you down the line when you guys get time, can you send us what's been allocated and spending those and versus where we're at on that, so we can just take a look at that? Thank you. And just one question on the corporate grant, $600,000. What is that? And I see it's a city appropriation. What is that for?
Corporate grants.
Mm-hmm. It's on the same page, third from the bottom.
City appropriations.
Mm-hmm. Out my business.
Citywide program?
Oh, that's what I said, yes. I'm sorry. Citywide, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I had to think about the terminology. We call that citywide.
Microphone.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. And then our okay. And finally, the CBDG funding, it's at $3 million. Our annual allocation, if I'm correct, is around 1.3.
No, it's, yes, for CDBG, it's 1.3, what does that say? That's 3 million. And then homes, about $500,000.
Okay.
And so that is including what we're gonna receive and then what we have in our coffers right now.
Okay, all right.
So the way those programs work, you know, we have our fiscal year here at the city, and then they have their program, you know, some of the grants have their program year, and the funding falls differently when we get those allocations.
Okay.
Which is why in March, we'll know more of what we're getting.
Okay, all right. And when we get to that point, can you just send sort of like where we spend and what we expect and what's left so we can?
We will, and in fact, we are again, as we talk about our community outreach, Julie and I have already been meeting, we have a meeting scheduled next week to talk about again our outreach so that people know that they can apply. That worked really well to have people actually kind of fill out an application that we could score, that when we met with many of you, when they had potential agencies looking at services and programs within their wards, we met with you and we kind of told you here's who's applied and here's what they've asked for. And then we went to the mayor with those, and then eventually it came, obviously, as appropriate through city council. Sure. We plan on using that method again.
Sure. Okay. And last thing, you know, this our programs, you know, it helps a majority of homes and homeowners and things of that nature for sure. But I will tell you the program that Julia Cave did with the lead abatement training and stuff. There has been some young people. I say young, but I definitely know of some brothers and sisters from the community have taken advantage of that. They're part of the process. They're doing some of this work. So that program and this funding is hitting two cylinders, right? People are getting the house fixed. Young brother got a job and doing a good job at it and enjoying it, you know, and telling others and encouraging others that it's real. So I appreciate you for putting that together and pushing that and keep up the work, both of you. Thank you. And everybody else, for sure. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. Director, you had mentioned that you're going to be appropriating the entire TIF allotment just to cut down on you mentioned the time frame, but I think it's a good idea from a staff perspective. You could spend your time doing other things, but just for clarification, when there is a TIF project, regardless of the amount, it still comes to council for approval,
Absolutely.
correct? Yeah.
Absolutely. This is just, again, a fiscal management standpoint of that.
Right.
So that we have those funds.
Just wanted to clarify that there's
Absolutely.
no, it's not going to circumvent the council and our review, which is important, so thank you.
Absolutely. No, it will not. In fact, this year too, you did, recently, we had that $400,000 that I know we looked kind of different, if you will, or why was it coming through at that time? Because again, we want to even accept those entitlement funds and follow that through proper procedure.
Okay, old school, she is having difficulty with her computer, but Alderwoman Conley was next.
Thank you. Yeah, I actually closed the wrong box. Sorry about that. So just actually, I will say congratulations. You answered two of my questions I was writing down as you were speaking, so thank you for that, everybody. Alderman Gregory touched on my third question, which was, I just want to clarify that $600,000 is for the citywide grant program for next year.
Portion of it, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
We will get you that breakdown, Alderwoman.
Thank you. I'd appreciate it because, and again, I need to work with you guys, I think, a little bit more. I want to make sure that there's more promotion of that program. My ward has a lot of areas that I know could benefit from it. I'm excited to see people are using it, and we certainly need to make some modifications to how that program functions. But I want to work with you before we start bringing any of those changes to the program forward. So
I think I mentioned just the other day, we're putting a new roof on.
Yes.
I signed the paperwork
you
for
told
our
me
roof.
Tuesday, and I
Yeah.
love to hear that. I know that the roofs are, having put one on my house, I know what that does to a pocketbook. But again, yeah, I think there are some tweaks that need to come to that program. We've had it for a couple of years now. We're seeing it in effect, but really would like to see that being pushed and promoted a whole lot more across the city. And we'll make sure our communications director also helps you with that.
Thank you. We'll get
She's riding high because she doesn't have to come to the table
We'll verify that breakdown.
did a good job
for you as
yesterday.
well.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Alderwoman Purchase.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Alderwoman Conley, for touching on promotion. And I'm sorry, Director Amy, you was going a little fast. I know I saw two new ladies in the back that I'm not familiar with their faces. Who are they again? You said that they go out to some of the neighborhood association meetings, and I can't see between people.
This is Felicia.
Hi, Miss Felicia.
She is our Economic Development Officer.
Okay.
She has been with the city how many years? 5 years. 5 years. She was formerly at CWLP.
That's a nice number, 5.
She's amazing.
What about 9?
She's amazing. Okay.
And this is Suraksha, our
yes.
professional planner.
Okay, and is this
and then
young?
Allie.
Okay.
Okay, Allie is next to them.
Okay.
One of our community program specialists.
Okay.
She works with Jared on the grant compliance.
Okay.
She's the one you can walk into her office and anytime see what grant is due when, and she'll have it all checked off and have all the information for you. Here at the end here, this is Sherzel.
Hi, Miss Sherzel.
Sherzel is, again, probably on the phone more often than not throughout the day as she's taking those intake calls. When
Okay.
someone calls and says, this is what's going on in my home, and then she is the one that can kind of help look at what programs might be applicable.
Okay.
And give them an opportunity to apply, no guarantee of funding, but get that opportunity and talking to them. She does, and then when they are able to move forward in the program, she's doing that one-on-one meeting with them there in our office to do what we call like intake type process.
Okay.
Across the table with them. And then Ken.
I know him, the smile. But thank you for that.
Thank you for asking for that.
No problem. Yeah, I like to be able to put faces with names.
And that's why I brought everybody along.
Yes, I will be requesting for Miss Walisha to come to some of my neighborhood association meetings so that she can also express and be able to promote the programs that's, you know, current to my area that could help residents as well. And then my chair touched on he stole a lot of my thunder, but I have 2 major projects in my ward. And Miss Julia did an awesome job this morning. I have a project that all 3 of us, Alderman Williams and Alderman Gregory, touch upon. It's helping affordable housing on 11th Street, and I think it's being, a lot of people are starting to use the land acquisition. That's an opportunity within the TIF. So I would like to speak more about that. And then I know me and Corporation Council can't talk about it because both projects are really in the preliminary stages, but even spoke with somebody about the Wyndham Hotel today that's interested in, talked about the land acquisition for that potential of that project too. So I thank you all for being able to be on these calls, be able to get out into the community, but I think more of, we all laugh when I say this, education, education, education. Being able to come out into the community for meetings and it's our jobs to bring our neighborhood associations together. So you don't have just 5 or 6 people in a room. I'm real big on making sure people show up because it's not that often that we can have your staff come out in the evening time when people are off work, got their families settled in after 5:30 p.m. So I know that that takes a lot in your budget too to do for overtime, but I do want to thank you and commend you for that and be on the lookout for these 2 major projects because I'm going to be asking for every dollar, shake the couches. I want every penny to come out of there to help us with moving forward with these projects. Thank you.
Alderman Williams. Thank you, Chair. And thank you, Director and staff. Well, you know, I do want to commend you. I do hear from many people, and there's a lot of improvement in this department. It always wasn't. You know, your predecessor was a nice lady. Your office and the way you're running it now and the way we are getting the information, it has really helped. There's a lot more clarity, a lot more understanding there in what they do and what they offer, and that's a good thing. I had 2 major ones come through. What I want to talk about is the ending of the process. Once the city council has voted and now we're closing, I had 2 scares. I'm quite sure y'all know. And both of them was about aldermen. We close on the 30th, and they are saying, you know, so I'm waking up Ramona. I'm waking up Murdoch. I'm chasing them down. You know, what, get out of this. You know, we got this. So they tell me about this process of dotting every I and crossing every T and just making sure. I don't have a problem with that. What I would like to see, though, is when we're working with these people and they're being approved, that closing date needs to be discussed, not just with them, but even with the people who's going to be dotting I's and crossing the T's so that we don't get these scares. Because in both cases, we kind of got scares. We worked it out, and I commend the staff because a lot of you guys did a lot of extra stuff and, you know, extra work, and you know, when you normally wouldn't have been working on it just to make sure. What I couldn't figure out is when in the process could we have been better at this so we never had the scare in the first place. I just know it's after the council approves and usually as we're leading up to the closing.
I think what happened in this case is that we urged those particular folks to not set a closing date and not make any guarantees because we were working through that process. And everyone gets excited and everyone gets anxious, and sometimes there can be miscommunicated things or misunderstandings. And again, all because we are looking toward the ultimate end goal in this. So we've learned through that. We've learned with our colleagues here at the city, we've learned what we can do better, and all we can do is do better. Okay?
Yes.
So all we can do is do better.
Yeah, and I mean, and I appreciate that because you're exactly right. I do believe the next time it's going to be better and get better and better because the two examples were just, well, they were shocking to me kind of, but as we worked through it and I especially got to working with Ramona a little, I started understanding the importance. You know, Murdoch gives me a hard time about all kinds of stuff, but I'm not used to Ramona saying, well, we got to make sure, you know, and they do. I mean, it is banking, but we're dealing with constituents that ain't always got experience with banking and banks and different things like that. So if we need to take a look at when to set that closing date, I just want to do that in the process and early so that they don't set it so early and then their hopes start getting dashed when they get the call from one of the Julias or from somebody say, hey, now we got to do this, now we got to, because we're on a clock racing that date. So if we can work that out, I think that'd be better. Again, kudos. I do think things have got 100% better in this department. I appreciate you for it. The second thing is denials. When a person is denied, so, of course, Eastview is one of my subdivisions. It's a nicer subdivision. The homes are a lot more expensive with this and that. However, they have the right to apply. Supposedly, if I listen to State Senator Doris Turner, she'll say, income ain't considered. Just geographically, these people can't apply. Well, a few of them got denied, and, it came up at the neighborhood association, as well as, the calls I got, and you probably got them, and we went back and forth. I think we worked some of that out. Right now, I think there's still a bad taste in some of the constituents' mind because they're viewed as, I guess, looking a certain way or at a certain income level perceived without which they claim shouldn't be counted. Even
we also, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I know that, again, there was some communication there that we've been working through.
Okay.
We've also tried to look at other programs where perhaps they're contributing a portion
Okay.
of it.
Okay.
We also looked at the fact that we do require photos and looking at, again, what that improvement is and things like that. So, again, it's a process.
Okay.
It's something that we continue to look at, but we do want to make sure that we are letting everyone know too that when you're applying, it's an application, just like anything else.
Sure.
Like a job application, just like anything else. There's not a guarantee of funding, but rather that we need to look at those funds that are already being requested, those projects that are already in the books,
Yeah,
and again, that photo opportunity.
Yeah, and so my thing is I just want the denial to make sense to my constituents. If they're reading, this is why I'm denied, and they're going, oh, well, that's not really, so then we get into the bickering. Let me ask you a real important question. So speaking of the photo, a few of them say, you have to come out and take the picture. You can't get on Google Earth and do this, Roy, because the picture's old, or it's not up to what it looks like today. And I want to ask you, do they use Google Earth, or do they actually?
Actually, that has been an addition with us having two home rehab specialists in our office. We actually, and was it you, Julia, or Alicia just told me, they've given another address to Matter Tom to go out and to look at that.
Okay,
So
I
our goal
appreciate
is to
it.
go
Yeah,
out
okay.
and to look at that. Now, if it's interior, we're going to definitely, obviously, make an appointment.
Yeah.
If it's exterior and it's something that we can see without getting in somebody's private backyard and having to go through fences and things like that, they may take a photo from
The street,
exterior,
yeah.
from the
Oh, yeah,
street, from the
okay.
sidewalk, whatever. But we are actually sending our home team out there.
Okay, well, I just wanted to mention these things. Like I started off, I think things are on improvement and are going pretty good, but I wanted to talk about these areas that we can even get even better at. So thank you for your time. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Alderman. Alderwoman Notrano.
Thank you, Chair. I am noticing that the MacArthur TIF is starting to look healthy. And it appears to me that we really are only paying out Hy-Vee at about $130,000 a year on that. So and I was looking at your website to see like what description you had of the TIF, and it really focuses on the TIF as it was created and like the work done around Hy-Vee. But I would really like to see like, what are the stipulations? Who can apply? Well, we know who can apply, but what sorts of improvements could be done using that money? Because there's still a lot of work that needs to be done in that area. So if we could get the word out with that as that balance grows, that'd be awesome.
I'm going to let Julia speak for a moment. By no means is this any, I know this is public, and by no means is this any guarantees, but she's had how many inquiries since our presentation the other day?
Oh, nice.
Probably 4 people
Nice.
have reached out and they're interested in funding or looking at potential funding
So
for
we
that.
won't name those names here in this.
Oh,
public
no,
setting,
of course not.
But they, one of them is a business on this, but we've gotten those calls and we're very excited, and we're working with them.
Okay.
Excellent.
And that was a week ago presentation, and we've gotten 4 calls.
Okay, yeah. So just any information you could give me that I could share with constituents in terms of like what they can use the money for, that'd be awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderwoman Purchase.
Thank you, Chair. Listening to my colleagues, Director Amy, do you have like more updated marketing information that we could take out for you? I know that 3 of my colleagues have had the open house ward meetings, and I know that each of the departments will come out to do that. I haven't had my date scheduled yet, but I don't want to request you all too much for individual ones, not knowing when my date may be coming up. Do you have some type of literature that you're putting together that can keep people with all of the new initiatives and everything you have going?
That is on my goal list.
Because I will say, I wanted to just finish by saying that, again, you guys do a good job, but sometimes we don't do a good job of telling our story of what we're doing, and we hear it, a lot of it here at budget time, and it's hard to like digest and say, let me remember this, this, and this to push back out to the community.
This was something that I did for my learning curve when I was appointed director, was I said, let's do something, and this is going to show my age, but remember the consumer reports charts where it would show all of the brands and then the features of that brand, and there'd be little bullet points that say, if you bought this vacuum, it does that.
My grandma would have told me, so Roy, stop it.
I don't think they actually published. That was when you could buy like a Consumer Reports magazine, right? You didn't even make the Farmer's Almanac anymore, I heard. Anyway.
No, she really doesn't know what you're talking about.
It just tells how old they are up here.
Well, I am too. So that being said, that draft is still on my desk. That is something that we need to accomplish. We have programmatic materials about our, about the various programs. I'd like to have one, not to be confusing, but just to highlight some of those features, like this one covers this one covers this one covers all of these things. So we're looking at something like that. We also,
Is that something you're wanting to put in your future forecast for 2026, 2027?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. And then we're also, Julia Griffin developed this. We used this when we rolled out the neighborhood improvement grants. We're going to be speaking next week at SSGA and CAP 1908's Business Institute, and then we'll be part of the one, our community relations that Director Posey just announced. We have put together a binder of materials as a real visual aid, and there'll be handouts as well that literally are showing the application process and then showing exact demonstrated examples of the reimbursement process. What proof of payment looks like, what this looks like, what this looks like, what your Secretary of State letter would look like. So we've kind of done all of that. We've created QR codes so that they can go to that incentive map on our website and immediately find their address. We were doing a lot of that when we were in the community room. We had like 3 of us around the tables, and at one point all 3 of us were meeting with individuals or constituents, couples or whatever, and they were able to scan on their phone, and then they'd sit there and go, okay, my address shows this, and then we'd go through that program with them. Even though we were there for neighborhood improvement, we were able to find like a citywide and some things like that. But yeah, so we hope to have more and more visuals like that, and more down to basics. Not everybody knows what certain requirements are, and if we can show them what that looks like, what that would look like. When you're getting a receipt, what should that receipt show on it?
If, I know our chair always say if you have too many questions, ask the director, but I think this is something for our entire council to hear.
Got it.
Right. But I think it's something for our entire council to hear. And I know that our Black Caucus is having a coffee and conversation, and having those visuals will be key to share with the community. And I'm going to be honest and transparent. Some of the items that you address and some of the requirements I'm not familiar with, because once we pass it here as a council, we don't see what the documentation looks like. So now I've just got a step further and said I want to attend some of the meetings so I can learn the process and understand what some of my developers are going through. How can I help assist them? So that's why I was on the call today with Julia and had a call with Corporation Counsel Mordock, so I can learn what's going on too. Because the one thing I hate is telling people, you know what, let me get back to you. Let me call Director Amy or send her a text or something to ask how do we move forward, or what are the next steps. So I'm starting to participate with my projects that's coming forward. I did when we had the Haxels for the building on 4th and Adams. These projects is coming forward for 11th Street and potentially the window. All of those I will be participating in, so I can continue to learn that information and be able to understand what to tell people for the next time they go forward, or they saw something that people like being with the group that's winning. So they'll ask, how did you do that? How did you get that? And then they'll ask questions. So experience is the best key in educating. So I do appreciate you, and please let me know when you have that information ready so that we can ask for some people to come. If not, we can be able to share it during our coffee and conversation. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Alderwoman. Nice questions, and I tell you, I appreciate the questions that have been asked to this department, and it is evident that you've listened to not only our questions and concerns, but listened to the community as a whole, and that's so important. Thank you all for your efforts, and for all of you for being here, and we appreciate all you do, and anything we can do to help. Again, as I said to the other departments, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, and we'll take a couple-minute break. Next up is the Office of Human Resources. 6. Tony, you ready?
Yes.
Anybody here?
Tony?
Tony?
Yes, yes. Go ahead.
You all set? Okay, Director, you're up.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Sarah Kink. I'm the Director of HR. Alderpersons, Mayor Busher, we thank you for this opportunity to present our fiscal year 27 budget.
Please
First
talk
is-
into the mic.
The first is our budget structure. Basically falls into 4 separate items: administration, civil service, our benefits, labor relations. We will get into more of that further into the slides. Fortunately, our workforce has maintained at 13 for the past 3 years. We are small, but we are mighty. We do pretty much anything that you could imagine on a daily basis. I'm very proud of the team behind me. We have each other's back, and if anything needs to get done, we work together to make sure it gets done. I'm going to take a minute to introduce some of my staff. I have to the right Nick Carell. He's our Labor Relations Manager. Whenever we get to, again, later slides, we will talk more about his position and what he does for HR. I have Kelly Martin, our Benefits Manager. And fortunately, she now has 2 staff underneath her. We were shorthanded there for a minute when I first started, but we were able to get Lisa Lowe hired, and we also have LaShonda Caldwell. Here's LaShonda and Lisa. An amazing dream team. We're starting open enrollment, we'll talk about soon, and very proud of those 3 ladies. Next, we have our Human Resource Manager, Isaac Edwards. I refer to him for many, many items on a daily basis. When I first started, he came in, hit the ground running with me, and offered any assistance in whatever possible way. Isaac is, he supervises our HR generalist, who is not here, Amanda Woods. And then we have 2 personnel techs, Aaron Lee and Alexis Moore. Next, we have our training and development specialist, Joe. Joe Egan, just celebrated his first year with us.
I thought you were going to say 30.
First, he's done so much for, and we'll also get into everything that he's accomplished in just 1 year. To my left, I have Kim Homeyer. She's our senior human resource business partner. Most of her job revolves around civil service and our budget and timekeeping. So, and she comes with 27 years with this. 26 years. So, wealth of knowledge. And finally, we have 2 human resource business partners, Chrissy Brown and Jessica Shepard. We are asking for a 1% increase this year, and you will see that we have contractual services have changed below, they went below 27%. They decreased by 27%. And if we have questions on that, Kim can speak. It's more along the lines of the police and fire hiring, where it's cyclical. 1 year it goes up to a certain level, the next year it dips again, but it's back and forth. You'll see electronic data processing, that's 145% increase. We have True Comp software that is going to be huge for the city. It's a benchmarking and compensation data gathering software that is going to help Nick with his bargaining with the unions, and for us to do a comprehensive compensation study and to update our compensation schedule that has not been done since 2022. Going to go through some of our accomplishments for this year. We can have Kim speak on as far as the police and fire.
Hi. So for the last several years, we've done 3 hires for police entry, so 3 exams. Fire, we do typically just 1 a year. With our promotions, in the past, it used to be where we would balance, we would do fire promotions. On the opposite years, we would do police promotions, but unfortunately, there was a time where the budget had changed, and so now that falls all at the same time. We have had some short lieutenant eligibility lists and people getting promoted off of them, so we did budget for a potential another one this coming year. Again, ours is all driven by applicants, so we have to, especially with promotions, look at who are eligible, but that doesn't mean that everybody's going to take the test. So again, it's just a good estimate with the amount that we budget for. Fortunately, we've always been under budget. Lateral hires, we've done really well this year with getting 7 new lateral hires, so it just helps they don't have to do the academy and they can start the FTO program and hit the ground running. So this year, I anticipate, again, another 3 police exams, but we are the closest to the head count for police that we have been in many, many years. So I think the chief's pretty pleased about that. So that's our goal, is to actually get him full force. Fire, we're going to be doing another hire for fire in March. So we're looking at 21, bringing on 21 people for that as well.
Going to speak a little bit about our training and development. That's where Joe Egan comes in, and he has been amazing. In just 1 year, he's been able to develop the Public Works conflict resolution training sessions, where 90 people attended. He started the supervisor leadership program, or the success supervisor training, which is very important for supervisors. If you're put into a role that you had not been a supervisor before, you're going to be set up to fail if you do not have any training. So Joe developed the training. We have 24 graduates that give the supervisors tools to be successful in their role as a supervisor. The new employee orientation, we have it every Tuesday. There's always something new, and that's continually, we're changing it. Maybe the new hires need to know this. Maybe that's a great place to introduce conflict of interest policy. You know, have them sign it there. Just different things that we're continually changing. And Joe's great to work with to get these employees all set up on their first day, so they're not always coming back and forth to HR to get anything done. The Springfield Police Oral Assessment Prep course. And then also Joe has been doing e-learning for the city employees, and over 500 course hours have been completed. And those are just some of the topics that he has developed e-learning tools for, that the employees are able to get online and take some courses. Recruitment and retention. My team they love always trying to find the best candidates for the positions, because we want the best people working for the city. We had 2 summer interns. Unfortunately, I didn't get to spend any time with them because I started August 4th and one was already gone, so I did get to meet the young man for just a brief amount of time. I'm also happy to report that, again, for the second year, we have a 100% score with the Municipal Equality Index. I looked at, there were 9 cities in the state of Illinois. We are one of 4 or 5 with 100%. That municipal index, the equality index, it measures laws, policies, crime statistics that we monitor to make sure that the city follows the LGBTQ+ equality mission. We also are excited, it will be coming out in the next couple weeks, a new applicant tracking system and a career site called Cornerstone for people who want to apply for jobs with the city. So that's actually going to streamline a lot, make the process easier for candidates to apply and to hopefully to speed up the process of getting qualified candidates into the city. As HR, you always need to be learning and develop professionally. We sent 2 HR business partners to Dallas, Texas this year to attend the CGI software training. CGI is our new software that we've been working on. It's more of an update to our 3.1 platform. Is now going to be a 4.0. And there's big changes that are being made, and it's been citywide, and it's been a process. So in the next couple of weeks, we're rolling that out. Fingers crossed. I think we're very well prepared. It's been a lot of work, and so they were able to go and to come back with different perspectives that we can't learn if we did not attend this conference. So we had one do more of the technical side, and we had Jessica look more of the application of the software. And then we also like to keep our business partners, the HR manager, and our generalist to attend any conference that they can benefit from additional training, and that was held in, I believe, Bloomington, Illinois this year. And we are hoping to continue that as well, to get our people trained, qualified, and always know the new policies, procedures that are out there, or if there's a policy or procedure that is out there currently that we can improve, that is first and foremost. Of course, part of HR is to support our departments, support our employees. We have 2 new cadets with the Springfield Police Department internship scholarship program. I met the 2 young ladies recently. They are fine young women. I'm looking forward to them working with our police department and to benefit from the city for them to learn law enforcement and to have their internship with Springfield Police. We also support citywide programs, and we really enjoy the Halloween, the Build program, the United Way campaign. Anytime that we can give back to the community, I see my department, let's meet. What are we going to do? Let's do this. Let's do that. Just the thoughts, the brainstorming that happens in our office is amazing, and I'm very proud of them. I'm going to let Nick speak a little bit about what he's done, and he can also speak a little bit more about the True Comp software if he would like, but he can highlight what he's been up to.
Good evening, guys. My name is Nick Farrell. I'm the Labor Relations Manager for the city. So last year, we had 7 contracts that were successfully negotiated. We still have 1 more that's pending approval. We're done at the table, but there's ongoing negotiations with 4 other existing agreements, and this year we have 6 agreements that expire, so it'll be another full year of negotiations for me. We did get a True Comp is a labor costing software and benchmarking module. So this allows us, it takes all of our compensation data and labor costs for each of the agreements, and so it allows us to make real-time changes at the table to see what impacts or any adjustments that are made during negotiations and what those costs would be. So whenever we're negotiating, we can have real-time data to see, is this something we can agree to? Is this something we can't agree to? Is this cost too much? The other side of that is the benchmarking. So it takes comparable communities and it will measure up positions like classifications. So for example, we can see what a firefighter +5 and how we rank between our comparable communities. So Decatur, Champaign, Peoria, Bloomington. So you put a title in there and it'll tell us, well, you're 3rd or 4th compared to the other comparable communities that, as far as compensation goes. So that is what I've been working on this year. Our go-live date is targeted for the end of January with TrueComp, so excited to get it up and running. It'll be useful for our compensation study.
I would like to add that also one of the comparables that we will be having access to is the state of Illinois, their salaries and their positions too. I know that the city can't always necessarily compete, but we can at least show us where we are in relation to the state's salaries. The next slide is we're going to be outlining what our benefits department has been up to, and I'm going to let Kelly Martin speak because we have so many wonderful things coming out, and open enrollment is starting soon, and I'll let her highlight some of those areas.
Thank you, Sarah. Hi, everybody. Kelly Martin. I am the benefits senior manager here at the city, and I have been working very hard this year. We completed RFPs for 11 different of our benefits. This is the first year that we have decided to do all benefits within 1 year for the RFPs. So it was a beast, but we really were ensuring that we had competitive pricing and improving our plan design and just really taking a look at the vendors that were needed. We are updating a couple of our vendors for this new year, which is going to be very nice. Aetna is one of them, where they will be for our medical and our dental. And so at that point, it is going to be a really well-rounded experience for our employees. We also, with that RFPs, we currently had Benefits Connect that we would utilize in the background just on the benefit side for our new hires and for open enrollment and getting people into the systems and into the vendors. With that, with the RFPs this year, I was able to negotiate Benefits Connect as a full Ben admin system into those new vendors that we are utilizing. And so we will have a full-blown Ben admin system where employees and retirees will be able to enroll online and with benefit coaches and a lot of great services for them. I'm very excited for it with this open enrollment. It has been a trial to try to get it all set up in time, but we are almost there at this point. With the benefits as well, I modernized the new hire benefits guide, including a benefits at a glance benefit recruitment tool that our business partners and training can utilize when they are going out and speaking to potential new hires. Our benefits enrollment guide was 136 pages, and I got it down to about 60, and that included about 3 or 4 really broad compliance sections that we have to put out there. With the compliance, we are continuously looking at our processes to make sure that we have the internal controls and audits on both IMRF and with the benefits going forward. And then with the communication, self-service access, and vendor accountability, I've been working individually with each of the vendors to make sure that when an employee is upset and there is escalation, that we can make sure that we are helping them and advocating on their behalf, especially during stressful times.
Thank you.
And our last slide, I'm going to speak a little bit about what our department goals are for this year. We're going to continue creating and documenting standard operating procedures. Whenever I came in and we were down an employee in benefits, there were no operating procedures. There was nothing put into place, no policies. I worked with Kelly. She started documenting everything, processes, handbooks, that if she were to win the lotto and quit, we have, here you go. This is how you're going to handle every step with every part of benefits. Also with every other department. We need to have handbooks. We need to have guidance on if something were to happen, that our department can continue. So we're going to continue doing that. Another area that I will add, it's not up there, job descriptions. I noticed when I came in, there were a lot of job descriptions that half done, not approved, no signatures. Are these real job descriptions? Is this the one we follow? So now we're auditing job descriptions when a vacancy becomes available. We ask the supervisor, look at this. Is this the type of job that you're actually, is this a vacancy you're filling? Or is this an old job description that needs to be updated? So we work with supervisors when that position becomes available, that we're going to make sure that it is appropriate and correct for that particular job title. Joe is going to continue building the e-learning course library. He gets recommendations quite often. What can benefit the employees? What can benefit supervisors? What can benefit any part of the aspect of the city HR department? And he works a lot with that. He's going to continue the supervisor training, get more people completed in that, because I think a leader, a supervisor needs tools. If you do not have tools, you are setting yourself up for failure, as well as the employees you supervise. We are going to continue working on a comprehensive compensation plan and also updating our compensation schedule. We have to know what our goals when we're hiring someone. Is that a competitive, are we in the market, and with that software it's going to help us, are these the correct numbers that we need to be going by? And finally, with Kelly's help and the benefits department, we're going to implement the new health insurance, all the new, our vendors, everything, the open enrollment. We're going to get it, we're going to tackle it, and be there for employees, retirees, to make sure if they have any questions, we're ready to go. And we're happy to take your questions.
Thank you, Director, and thank you to everyone who spoke. Appreciate all your efforts, and I can attest that Mr. Egan is not shy about sending reminder emails.
Yes.
Yeah. Alderman Carlson. Yeah, those are great, by the way. Sarah, thanks for the presentation. I'd be remiss if I didn't say Kim is a great employee. In a previous life, I used to work with her, and tremendous employee and great knowledge. Sarah, I'm always concerned about vacancies and just the function of city government. And we've got to continue to, there are a lot of people that rely on us for various things. I mean, where are we at with vacancies? I think I heard the other day, are we at 38 or 39 or?
36.
Is it lower than that?
If not, I can get. So as of December, we
Okay.
had 35
Okay.
vacancies,
Okay.
but it's constantly changing.
Well, I know it's always fluctuating. I mean, I don't, is there something we can, I mean, I think we've done some stuff as a council the last couple of years that make it a little bit easier and maybe expand the opportunities for people to come work for the city. I mean, is it really just at the end of the day just about pay? Is it money? Or what are your thoughts on what we can do as a, and when I say that, I'm excluding really police and fire.
Correct.
I'm just talking, just.
Correct. I think a lot of vacancies, a lot of people like to work remotely. I think that is not the best plan. I think some of the best work is done, and people want to see their tax dollars at work. Right. And if by working remotely, a lot of people, I'm paying taxes. I want to see people working downtown. I want to see them in the office. And honestly, I think that's where the best kind of relationships develop, the best work gets done, that the team building happens, but a lot of people find that the remote work is what they want to do.
And I'm glad you said it, because that's what I've heard. I mean, if they can go to the state and work remotely, which, I wish we need to get state employees back to the office, by the way. That's another thing.
I agree.
I mean, so I've heard that's one of the first questions that some of these people ask. Hey, is this remote? Can I work at home a couple days a week? And so that's interesting you confirm that. So,
You don't work at home.
yeah, okay. All right, Sarah, thanks. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Alderman. Alderwoman Conley.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you all for coming in. I really appreciate this. I have a couple of quick questions. First of all, I love that you're doing supervisor training. That's been something as we see successes, and it's not just for the supervisors, but also I'm hoping, and I hope you can track this, but maybe what kind of implications, what kind of impacts it has on employee grievances too. Because, management and employees have rights under those contracts, and the more everyone understands their roles and how those work, and it's not intuitive. It's something that needs training. So thank you very much. I think that's a fabulous initiative. Looking forward to seeing that. I do have some questions about the benchmarking software that you're using for the for union contracts. First of all, you said that they look at comparable communities. I'm assuming those are just communities in the state of Illinois?
Yes, so with our police and fire contracts, we have, generally, we have comparable communities that we agree to prior to negotiations, so
That was my next question.
I used those communities along with the state, and I hit my cap, but.
So, and are these comparable communities that use the same software, or do they have to be using the same software that you use, or does the software gets that information?
Yep, the software reaches out to the communities if they don't already have the information already. They'll submit FOIA requests to those communities to get the information. So Cook County actually uses this software as well, and they have, so they've collected data from some of our comparables, but they obtain all that information.
Okay, so that's part of what we pay for in the subscription. That's wonderful. Being on the management side, you may not love me asking this question, but how do you share this information with the unions? Is this something that at the negotiating table, this is presented and shared so we all have common ground to work from, or how does that work?
So I mean, I guess I haven't discussed with Corporation Counsel how we're going to be implementing that at the negotiation table, but I mean, generally we have a pretty, open line of communication when it comes to those types of things.
Because it's all, like you just said, it's all publicly available information that's subject to FOIA anyway?
Right.
Okay.
Alderwoman, if I may, when Nick and I negotiate, I think the approach that we like to take is more information for both sides, the better. There's no reason to hide that information. We want to make sure that if we're talking about different communities, and we just went through this with fire, where we would use each other's spreadsheets, because if we're arguing numbers, we want to make sure that we're going off the same numbers and the same assumptions.
Wonderful.
And
Thank you.
that we don't say Bloomington is charging X and fire thinks they're charging Y, and we have a different starting point. So we can argue about it, but we want the facts to be the same.
Wonderful. Thank you. That's what I was hoping to hear. Thank you very much for that. And then I do have some ideas around training. Director, I'll reach out to you with some of those. But my final question, really, when we're talking about the state, I think it's going to be difficult for us at the city to compete at the state level for salaries. We do have good benefits, but how long does it take, like from posting a position to interviews to making an offer? And again, I'm going to exclude police and fire; those are different processes. But kind of the rest of our staff, how long does that process take?
I will say, in my experience,
And you can give me a generalization. I know not everything's.
It varies. So right now we are hiring a business partner, and we posted it for a week. We had an internal candidate. We had 3 external candidates that we wanted to interview. This week we interviewed them. Well, are we happy with those or are we not? And then it goes there. Do we need more candidates? Unfortunately, we're going to have to stop that hiring for right now while we integrate into the new software next week. But this is where everything then becomes variable. Did you like your candidate selection? Do you want to open it up for a little bit longer? And then if a candidate cannot make an interview, or I think typically it's about a month to pick out what candidate you want.
Okay.
Then there's backgrounds, and then the drug testing, and then the hiring recommendation, and the fiscal reviews, and the paperwork that sometimes can get caught up. But
So let me just give you an example of what I'm asking for with comparisons to the state, because I've gone through this a couple of times, where a job is posted, and then 7 months later, we're filling the position.
That's not us.
So we're faster than the state in that way. Okay. I mean, and I will say that's something that should be promoted, because yes, the state has other benefits that come into play. I will say at least my agency is at least hybrid back in the office. We, in the office some days, and we do have some, people have opportunities to work remotely, but we mix that up. It's not, I don't think anyone's fully remote. But the speed in hiring, and when a position is posted and then someone interviews, I mean, I'll say when I got hired into my most recent position, it was 6 months. I had made vacation plans. I assumed I didn't get the job. So if that's something we can do and we can talk about us compared to the state.
It's funny you say that because we interviewed a candidate today, and he said, I applied, and 5 hours later, I get a call.
Right.
And he was like, oh, well, like.
Quite work that
we
way.
We were on it, like.
And that's a big deal. That's in terms of capturing people's interest in our positions, and then maintaining their interest in the positions and actually getting them in to hire them. So, and I know that's not easy. I understand you guys have a lot to look at, but do appreciate that. Do appreciate all the job postings that we get to see and see what we're doing. Don't love the reminders on the trainings, but we'll talk about that.
Keep it up, Joe, keep it up.
Keep
It's all
harassing.
good. It's all good,
No,
Joe.
it's keep that up. We tout this all the time, but the training, not only for staff and employees, but for us too. It is important. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Alderwoman Purchase.
Thank you, Chair. Director Sarah, I try to push out all of the job, what would you call them?
Announcements?
Yes. I try to share them on my page, put them in my newsletter. And do you send something out, like you just explained the process, do you send something if that pool of people did not work out to meeting the requirements? Does it go back open right away, or do you just extend it for a little while?
Depends on if we extend it or not. Each candidate is notified whether they were, going to make it to the next round, or you did not meet requirements. That we do have, our software does automatically send that type of information out. And then, no, did I answer your question? Because
Kind of. Alderwoman Conley asked it too, like just making sure, because I know I'm personally pushing it out for you too, to the community through any of my marketing stuff that I do. But if that position closes, but then turns around and open right back up because you didn't have enough employees, or somebody canceled because they got a job somewhere else because of the timing, how do you do that process?
I believe that it's still out there
Okay.
for people to apply.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry.
So once the position closes and then they decide to, seek additional applicants, then we have to open up a new requisition.
Okay.
So we notify everybody that applied that we are opening it up again and that they're welcome to reapply as well.
Okay. I get a lot of shares and people asking questions in the comments on social media. And then I took a little note, and Joe, yeah, you send a lot of emails, but I've been responding to you.
Oh, there he is. I didn't see him back there.
I've been responding. I sent you an email back today. Joe has a very important role. As you know, I had brought up a situation that, just didn't sit well with me. So hearing that you're doing conflict resolution and also working with supervisors, it's a hard role to be in. You're trying to be compassionate, but also we got to have boundaries. So this is good to hear, because this is what I was looking for when I brought up that concern, to say, hey, what are we doing to make sure, or we can't make sure because you just never know what somebody's going to say, but ensure that we have processes in place for things that happen like that so people could feel safe at work. So I'm glad to hear that, and I echo what Alderwoman Conley, I'm just not pressing a button fast enough tonight because they asking like some of the questions I'm asking. Stemming off of that particular subject that happened, are we keeping track of like some type of data like she asked to see where improvements are happening? I know when I worked at the state and we had trainings, you can leave suggestions, you can ask for more trainings, and I know that you just talked about supervisor, but what about employees? Because this kind of like happened between employees where supervisor had to step in. Not trying to get too deep into it, but this is like what I was wanting to hear and just want to learn more about it.
Yeah, I mean, there's, in terms of the training.
They gonna tell you to talk in the mic.
Yeah, in terms of training, I mean, there's basic surveys from those who attend the training.
Talking to the mic, please.
Yeah.
I
So
told you.
there's basic surveys that you can send out to measure who attended the training. But then there's also just some key measurements that we want to see over time.
So Joe, I'm
reduce-
sorry for
yeah.
interrupting you. So it's optional and not required. So like you said, people are filling this out for those who attended.
Yeah, so that's generally an optional inquiry, but I send emails, so I'm like.
You do.
I get good responses.
Okay.
Yeah, you do.
But then we're working on how do we measure it in terms of, I think you had mentioned the employees.
Mhm.
Do they feel more valued? They feel they're being coached better? So that I'm still working on, how do we measure some of those key benchmarks along the way to make sure that the training was fully successful? And
Okay.
if we need to revisit anything, I should say.
Okay, thank you. That's something I wanted to ask for my own understanding. And we don't, again, during budget time is when we hear a lot, see a lot of people that we've never seen before or getting reacquainted with some faces. So I just wanted to ask that for the public too, as they still continue to ask us stuff.
I mean, a simple example is like conflict resolution training. We would expect to see less conflicts and
Right.
better behavior, so that's an example, right?
We expect that down here also.
I ain't
Thank,
completed mine
thank
yet.
you, Chair.
I ain't
Thank you,
done.
Alderwoman. And we have a couple of more budget questions from some aldermen. Alderman Gregory.
No, just not, and I won't be too long, but I appreciate you guys. Ms. Kim, I know you've been working here some time. I remember when we did a open house at the firehouse on Martin Luther King there, and I can tell you, one of those young men that did come through that, he is now a fireman. So those things work. Get out into the community. I appreciate you guys getting out in the community as much as you do to share those jobs. Your staff all do a great job getting those jobs to us. We try to push those out, and we'll continue to do that. Keep up the good work. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Alderman. Alderman Rockford, did you wish to say?
No,
Okay.
I'm ready to move on.
Director, thank you very much, and thank you for your entire team. Next up is
Thank you.
Office of Public Works. I guess he's not ready.
Ready?
Tony is ready. Director, the floor is yours. Thank you. Director, before you get started, I did want to say one thing. We really appreciate the infrastructure meetings that you have been having with each one of us and affording us an opportunity to not only know what the engineers and the staff are planning in our wards, but affording us an opportunity to ask those questions of you directly so that we don't have to do it here. Thank you very much. Go ahead.
Thank you, Chairman. Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Chairman. Good evening, members of the City Council. My name's Dave Fuchs. I'm the Director of Public Works, and we're here to make our budget presentation. I am joined this evening by our Chief Engineer, Nate Bottom, and our Fiscal Officer, Matt Girani. These gentlemen typify the dedication to public service that I find from top to bottom in Public Works. It is an honor and a privilege for me to serve with these men. Let's go. The Department of Public Works is composed of 13 divisions, and you see them on the slide there. Our workforce in fiscal year 26 had a head count of 204. We have a minority workforce of 26.8% and a female workforce of 11.1%. We are looking to add one position to Public Works this year, and that is within Permit Inspections Administration. FY27 budget, a couple of things I'd like to point out here. Under contractual services, you'll see a variance of just over 10%. That is accounted for the increase in sewer cave-ins, sewer lateral repairs, and the tree planting that's associated with the USDA grant. Electronic data processing, we see a variance of just over 7%, and that is associated with our new program of C-Click Fix, which allows the residents of the city of Springfield to identify a difficulty, a problem, or a complaint. They can capture an image of it, send it to us. They can do all this electronically, and a service request is open, so that's accounted for by that. And then under permanent improvements, you'll see a variance of just over 21%, and that is all accounted for by the railroad relocation project, specifically on usable segments 6A and B. That's all the work that's going on North Grand Avenue, around 11th Street, around Lanphier High School. Now we're taking a look at the pie chart. Permanent improvements account for 63%, personal services for 15%, and contractual services 16%. Under the corporate fund, personal services, we have a variance of not quite 2%. That's accounted for by COLA and union contract increases. Under contractual services, we see a variance of over 10%, and that is the tree grant from the USDA, and all those funds are reimbursable. Finally, under electronic data processing, we see a variance of right at 8%, and once again, this is due to C-Click Fix. Under the non-corporate funds, under contractual services, we have a variance of just under 10%. That is accounted for by sewer work, road maintenance repairs, and downtown beautification. Under equipment, we see a variance of 12.45%. That is accounted for by the purchase of a Vector truck for the sewer department. And under operation of auto equipment, we see a variance of 20.92%, and that was provided to us by OBM. Fiscal year 2026 accomplishments. Under infrastructure improvements, we made 10 miles of overlay conversions, 5 miles of seal coat, 5 miles of concrete patching, 1 mile of brick repairs. The folks that live along those brick streets love them, and we do our very best to keep them in as good a shape as we possibly can. 12 miles of micro-surfacing, 2 miles of bituminous mastic, 25 miles of crack filling, 125,000 square feet of sidewalks, and 100 curb ramps, all ADA compliant. For our larger projects, Alderman Williams, the Adloff Lane reconstruction, and the Wheeler Avenue Road reconstruction. We're also on Lenhart Road reconstruction, Cookie Mill Road, Old Jacksonville Road, Monroe Street, 6th Street, 7th Street, and 11th Street overlays.
Yeah, it did.
Under FY26 accomplishments in the sewer department, sewer infrastructure, the Northeast Sewer Pilot Lateral Rehab Program, Phase 2 Lake Sewers. That's where we're hooking a lot of the folks that have houses out at the lake onto the sewer system so that we can get them off the septic tanks, which is beneficial to everyone. Forest Park Hills lining, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th Streets, north of Washington lining. Converse to Watch, 19th to Ohio lining and T-liners. Walnut Street, Lawrence to Kennedy, lining and T-liners. Brentwood and Briarcliff subdivisions lining. 11th Street, Adams to Jackson and Cook to Edwards. Capitol, 11th to 12th lining. Stokebridge Road, sewer removal and replacement. And for Alderman Connolly, Mossman Avenue, sewer removal and replacement. That was a couple. FY26 accomplishments, operational performance. We have over 7,050 service requests. Over 18,300 Julie tickets were processed. That's where we identify the utilities before we do work. Over 7,500 work orders. Over 4,650 building permits. 53 zoning cases. Housing, over 6,100 complaints. Demolitions, we had 43 that were under the city contract, which include, for Alderman Donilon, 5 at Old Town. 19 were conducted by city crews, 10 owners with cases, and 14 of those repaired. 75% of our tree inventory has been completed, and we're Tree City USA and Growth Award. Community engagement, the waste and recycling unit is very, very active with this. First and foremost is our pumpkin smash, which is always the Saturday after Halloween. We had it out at the beach house this year. We had a great crowd, smashed a lot of pumpkins, and we actually had a touch a truck event, and that was very, very popular. Household hazardous waste drop-off. We do this in October as well. We do it at Chamberlain Park. The Park District is very kind to let us use that. We had 611 cars that stopped by, and they dropped off 37,803 pounds of household hazardous waste. That's a real plus because a lot of that would end up in the sewers if we didn't collect it. So this is a very important program. Earth Day, we do that in April. We had 1,400 attendees, and of course the ever popular Holiday Planner Contest. Another one of our great events, the Mayor's Build event we do in the Pillsbury neighborhood, and that was very successful. Out at Oak Ridge, we have the Sangamon County Historical Cemetery Walk, and the Oak Ridge Foundation sponsors their tree tour every year. Speaking of Oak Ridge Cemetery, our service numbers, there were 251 burials. We had $99,000 in memorial and foundation sales and $695,000 in revenues. FY 27, we do have a request for additional columbarium. The traditions in American burials are changing. More people are being cremated, and this accommodates that change in our tradition. Accomplishments, we had the completion of the Woody Williams Memorial Gold Star Families Monument. I'd encourage you all to go out and take a look at that. It's very nice. We put a new roof on the cemetery office. We removed over 25 dead and unsafe trees. We've got a lot of trees out there, and a lot of them are really old. And the expansion of the African American History Museum. FY 27 beautification, downtown. We're going to continue to work on wayfinding signage, streetscape improvements, and the Old State Capitol pedestrian covers. You notice by the illustration, you see that structure. We are going to put 3 of those up over the stairwells that go down to the underground parking at the Old State Capitol. As you know, they are wide open now. Security and safety is an increasing issue there. We work very closely with the folks from DNR. In fact, we met with them today. This project is moving forward. The contractor is going to begin to construct these shelters, and we'll be putting those in place in the month of February. So that's FY 27 goals for design. Oh, I'm sorry, forgive me. We're also planting a lot of trees. We're planting 500 trees annually. It's all based on the USDA grant, and we're going to complete the tree asset inventory. My apologies, trees are very important to all of us. FY 27 goals, design. Design engineering, 19th Street feasibility study. The link, the 8th Street usable segment, Cockrell Lane, Ogden to Mathers, Pokey Mill Road, Old Jack to Washington, MLK Junior Drive, Clear Lake to South Grand, safety improvements, 11th Street, Lincolnshire and Hazeldale, safety improvements. We're seeing an increase in accidents out there because of the increase in Ash Street Road Diet, Isles Avenue, West White Oaks to Illinois 4, safety improvements, 11th and South Grand safety improvements, and IDOT project coordination on MacArthur Boulevard, Stevenson Drive, 6th Street widening, Sangamon Avenue, and Dirksen Parkway. FY 27 goals, maintenance, 10 miles of overlay, 5 miles of seal coat, 5 miles concrete patching, 1 mile brick street repairs, 26 miles of crack filling, 2 miles of mastic patching, 12 miles of microsurfacing and slurry sealing, 125,000 square feet of sidewalks, and 100 curved ramps. FY '27 goals, these are the major projects. North Grand Avenue overpass, underpass, and Union Pacific dual track work. The link, North Street usable segment, Carpenter Street at 5th and 6th, safety improvements, Headley Road and West White Oaks Drive, safety improvements, Marketplace Drive and Stockyard Road connection, that's out by the VFW on the north end, Martin Luther King Jr. Drive, safety improvements, 5th and Capitol, signal and streetscaping. Our FY '27 goals for the sewer department, sewer infrastructure. Ridgely Park Area 1, lining and T-liners. Ridgely Park Area 1, manhole rehabilitation. Complete Phase 2 lake sewer construction. Begin Phase 3 lake sewer construction. 2nd Street, Adams to Union, lining. 5th Street, Town Branch to Cook, lining. 6th Street, Reynolds to Miller, lining. Sherwood subdivision, lining. Timber Lane subdivision, lining. Sherwood and Timber Lane subdivisions, manhole rehabilitation. That concludes my presentation, and I would be happy to entertain any questions.
Thank you, Director. First up is Alderman Gregory.
All right, real quick. Thank you, Director Nate. What's your name, man? Man, I'm getting older. But, you know, I'm looking at head count, and I know every year since I have been here, I've always tried to add some type of crew to help us out. Is working with, you know, sending you guys many emails. I'm going to do a total over the years. But the need, looking at the numbers, you know, since a long time, but, you know, we're down a total of 43. And I know we'll probably never see getting back at 248, but I think a good number, at least getting, you know, 2 more crews, which would be 12 people, or 2 more crews, or 12 more people, eventually, over time, to really help us out on some things. You know, we've had brief discussions about street sweepers and things that our constituents like, you know, I think it was 1846 that, you know, that street sweeper, a little Black History moment, was made by a black man named Charles Brooks in New York, New Jersey. So I think it has its benefits, you know, with getting things out of the gutters and the things. And it looks, I've seen them out today. It just does something. I see them downtown every day doing a wonderful job, and it really helps us out too. But that's just one thing on head count. You know, I would really at least like to see another. I think we called it an alley flyback crew, but within that, it includes employees that can do various things. TDL, hire drivers. This department is unique, right? When we talk about job opportunities, this department in our ordinance or in our contracts, we can do a TDL, truck driver, laborer, hire in and help him get a CDL. Am I correct in that? Right. So those are opportunities. I know we've done that recently, where somebody who didn't have a CDL, didn't have that training, got hired on at this city and got an opportunity of a lifetime. So I keep pushing that opportunity for others who wouldn't have that anywhere else. So I appreciate that program, and I think it's good. Martin Luther King. So I see it on here twice on the engineering, one on the big project in 2027. Talk to me about when we will see some action.
So we are planning on designing it. Sorry, I apologize. Sorry, Tony. We're working on design at this time. We have some land acquisition. We only have 1 parcel we need to complete, and we need to get phase 2 approval. So we're hoping to wrap up the engineering in late summer and then bid the project in the fall. So probably a November letting.
Okay. Is there any funding in the I see the tree work that's been going on, and this is Dr. King Boulevard. We'll celebrate his birthday Monday. Today is actually his birthday today. And you know, one of the things why we push to cease redevelopment Martin Luther King is because it's such a special man that he is, right? And that street that's named after him deserves some investment, and we're starting here with the street. But we did do the sidewalk from Jefferson to Cook. I believe we stopped. There was plans to widen that sidewalk going all the way down to South Grand. You know, I'd like to talk about that. I have not had my infrastructure meeting yet, so I apologize.
He's the 22nd.
I'm the 22nd, but I'm coming. So I'll save some of that conversation for you know, respecting the chair. I'll save some of that conversation. And you know, eventually I would like to, you know, I want to see in the budget some money for some planters along South Grand and Martin Luther King. I think the overall goal is beautification, you know, in the East Side community as well. I think it looks fabulous downtown. You know, a few beer cans here or there, and we'll get them out. You know, I have talked to the folks at Cap 1908 in the South Grand area and those other businesses. They're willing to plant and take care of those and monitor them as well. So I look forward to try to working with us to do those things, even if so much we have to donate and start some donations to get those. You know, pricing is just needed to know. We are really interested in that budgeting wise. That is all the notes I had today, besides just a simple, I'm happy with the tree grant. I think being a tree city is a good thing. We're removing them, and obviously we want to get some planted back. But I would encourage that only small trees under the power lines. The ones that we're taking down, let's not put no big ones back up to grow back up, and we got to do this process. Again, that's my only comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. Alderwoman Conley?
And my apologies, Alderman Gerg, I have actually had my meeting, and I've two things that I forgot to ask you at that. First of all, I'm hoping this is a quick answer. Do we have a timeline or any updated feedback from IDOT on the MacArthur Boulevard improvements?
So MacArthur Boulevard, we had a meeting actually today with the Development Policy Council, and Teresa Price was there, the Region 4 engineer, and she said that they are planning on wrapping up Phase 1. They're looking at the hydraulics and wrapping up hydraulic design at this time. They anticipate having the Phase 1 engineering completed, and then they do anticipate land acquisition taking 2 years.
It sounds about right. So we're looking at about another at least 3 to 4 years.
Correct.
Ish. Okay. And again, I know that's not our timeline, that's the state's, but thank you. It's good to know you've had that conversation. And then the other issue, and this is something that I've had people bring up to me, it's not my ward, but the fountains out in front of the municipal building. I looked quickly, I didn't see if there was money in there for repairs to that. People have noticed that the fountains are off and have asked what the plan is.
So we are planning on removing the old concrete and everything along those lines for the time being, and then at least sprucing it up and landscaping the area. We'll be putting an RFQ out for that shortly.
I will tell you, one of the questions that I had asked was, has the city considered putting in a splash pad right there? So I'm just sharing it. That was one of the things. Again, didn't notice it in the budget, but it was people really enjoyed having that water feature downtown, and especially because it's, you know, right there, right next to the library. But
yeah, and so that money is built into our budget in Fund 95, I believe, the 1,200 lines, 1204, 1232.
I looked at your budget lines. I didn't see anything specifically that popped out. So, okay. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. No,
May I
thank you, Chair.
interrupt for a second?
Thank you, Alderwoman.
Yeah.
Alderman Hanauer.
Chairman, can I interrupt for a
yes, Mayor.
second? Either CCE or Director, could you touch on why the fountain is inoperable? Because people may not know, just for informational purposes only. Thank you.
The fountain was constructed in 1962 when this building was built by a generous contribution by the Roman Cultural Society. There's a nice plaque on it. I personally think it's reminiscent of what Las Vegas looked like in 1962. It's been a great feature, but like everything that we work with and we maintain, sooner or later, it just wears out, and that's what's happened. Since I've been on board, May of '23, we've replaced pump motors, we've replaced plumbing, We've replaced electrical wiring. It's shot. There's nothing there to fix anymore. If you take a close look at the concrete that was poured, it's not just flaking apart, it's crumbling apart. There's no way that we can fix it. The grounds crew has done a tremendous job of keeping it going for the last few years, and I commend them for that. My office looks right out onto the fountain, and I take great joy in watching how approachable it is. There's not a set of parents and their kids, or grandma and grandpa and their kids, or auntie and uncle, or school groups who aren't attracted to it and immediately run over and toss a couple of coins in it and take some pictures. I know over the years a lot of wedding pictures have been made there. I know a lot of prom pictures have been taken there. It's beautiful. It's been a part of our lives, but we can't fix it.
And I understand, and I do share that, Mayor, too. I understand that. I will just say, people just say they enjoy having a water feature there, you know. We have the other one, and that's lovely, but it's just something that people have shared. And I've said exactly that. It was old. So thank you, but thank you, Mayor, for.
Heart is heavy.
Alderman Hanauer.
Thank you. And I appreciate meeting with you guys the other day. I think, you know, it was beneficial, and like every year, you know, little give and take on what we're doing. So I do have a question for you. I forgot to ask, what does it cost? And I've been asked this, and I used to know numbers. I don't know them anymore. But what does it cost for a neighborhood road to overlay it? Do you know offhand, Nate? Because at one time it was like $1.10 a foot, or was that I don't know. It was something crazy.
It's changed over time, and cost has escalated. It depends upon the width of the road, obviously.
Just a normal. $500,000
a mile.
$500,000 a mile. All right, and that's for just a neighborhood street. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. Alderman Williams.
Yeah, I lost my place on my project. So here's what we're going to do. So 22nd and Clear Lake, the project timeline. You got a timeline on the city's project that's going there?
The water.
Clear Lake.
So CWLP Water Division is the one that's, they're planning on going this fiscal year. We're just wrapping up design at this time. However, we do not have it in the budget to construct a facility for the Streets Division at this time.
Okay. Do you know the size or approximate size of that project?
I don't have the numbers in front of me. I apologize, but I can get that to you,
Please
what the
do.
estimate was.
Yeah, and then the other one is Dirkskin and Ridge. City project again next to the Family Dollar.
CWLP Water, or CWLP Electric Division project.
Okay. Is that a 1-story, 2-story, 3-story?
You're gonna have to
You
ask
the
Doug
engineer.
Brown on that one.
Yeah. I'll get what you need, okay. Thank you.
It's Doug's project, Doug Brown's project.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know, but.
Our estimate, though, for our project was approximately $14 to $15 million, but that's a little outdated.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Alderman. Alderwoman Natrano.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Alderman Gregory, for bringing up street sweepers, because you reminded me of something I didn't ask in my meeting. Are we at a point yet where we can develop a street sweeper schedule so that residents can move their cars whenever the sweeper will be on their street?
Need the people.
The situation that we find ourselves in right now is that to operate a street sweeper requires an operating engineer member of that. Those are also the same individuals who use our backhoes, our front-end loaders, and everything else. The telehandlers, all the other equipment that we have has to have an operating engineer. So our priorities are, digging holes and clearing ditches and working on projects. And so when these individuals are not tasked with operating a backhoe, that's when we put them on the street sweepers. So the answer is no, we do not have enough operating engineers or street sweepers to establish a schedule to say, we're gonna be in Ward 6 on South Grand Avenue or one of the neighborhood streets on a specific time and give everybody. Now, I lived in Chicago for many years, and when they clear the streets for the street sweepers in the summer up there, it's 3 days' notice. They put the notices up on the block, and that's.
Can we do that?
Sorry?
Can we do that? 3 days of notice?
It would make it even harder for us
Oh.
to adhere to a schedule where we say next week and the week after that and a month down, we're gonna be on a specific street from this time to that time. That,
No, but like how far in advance do you know that you're gonna send a street sweeper to a certain place?
don't. We look at the schedule.
Oh.
It's something to watch in the morning at the garage to see who all's working, what crews have what work scheduled, and what is a priority, and the different foremen, trading operators, and workers off and on to staff the crews and finish. So there's virtually no way that I could take a look 3 weeks down the road and say, I'm gonna have not enough guys to be in a specific neighborhood from 8:30 to 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay.
I understand why everybody wants to do that. It's helpful when cars are on the street, when we street sweep, it's terrific, but we're just not able to do that.
Okay. Are there, it seems like it would be a good idea anyway to develop some sort of program to take our current employees and get them trained as operators. I know that will then adjust, costs of employees or what have you. But it seems like we could benefit from having some people who are versatile, and having more operators, it sounds like. So, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderwoman. Alderman Gregory.
Just a quick follow-up, and I'm gonna be quick. So I thought before we put in funding for 4 of the street sweepers, 2 old ones, 2 new ones that were held up. Do we have all 4 of them in yet? Okay. Nate, before we worked out a alley fly dumping crew with all the people and the equipment, does those crews include a operating engineer? Yes. And so two crews is what, 3 or 4 people? Remind me.
It depends on the crews, but 3, 2, 4.
But that's
There's
645.
An operating engineer, a foreman, and a TDL. Sometimes there are 2 TDLs on a crew depending upon what the task is.
Okay, all right. I'll have to look back at our notes on that 645. But that's my point to this council. If we add in just 2 of those crews, that would give us either 6 or 8 people more. That would be $1.2 million, $1.3 million with the benefits and stuff. We need that because they do a great job, our staff do a great job, but it's totally unacceptable to pull crews off, to go do other jobs when we need people to pick up fly dumping until we figure out what we're gonna do to stop it. To pull them off from branch pickup to go do things that they need to do. Out of all departments, and I think all of our other departments, we have really over the years made sure the staffing is right. This one right here needs some attention on the staffing, from the inspectors to doing this work that we ask our workers to do for our citizens. Our citizens ask for us to get done. So that's my final budget question. Appreciate you. Keep up the good work. Talk to you in 20 seconds.
Thank you, Alderman. Good points. Alderman Rockford.
Yeah, so real quick, and to piggyback off you, Sean, we do have crews in different departments, and I think if we went to negotiations and we got it put in a contract where we share services, and we steal some operating engineers, and we steal some foremen and some truck drivers to come in and assist with Public Works. We've tried it in the past, and we had some union squabbling, and it was the same union but different negotiating. But you can still CWLP employees who's in the AFSCME union, different bargaining units, but there's things that can be done if we wanted to move that way.
All right.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you, Alderman, and thank you, gentlemen, for your time this evening and the insight and all the work that you and every man and woman does in your department. One of my favorite departments, so thank you.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, next on the agenda, we have the Office of Budget and Management. They did such a great job last night, we had them back.
Thank you. This is gonna be a speed session. Some men will be
You guys ready? Nice try. You got one. Director, are you ready?
Yes.
Don't forget about the mic. Tony, are you ready?
Ready.
Tony's ready, so Director, the floor is yours. Welcome back.
Good evening. I'm Ramona Metzger, the Director of OBM, or the Office of Budget Management. Thank you for allowing me to present the OBM's budget tonight. OBM has a fabulous team of people, and you get to interact with a few of them tonight. Jeff Ajeezy, Fiscal Services Assistant Director, and I are very thankful to the Budget Division. The staff is comprised of the fiscal officers, including Matt Garani, who was just here with Public Works, Micah Moran, who you met last night with SCVB and again tonight with the library, Olivia Kerrigan with the Fire Department, Calvin Gaskell with the Police Department, and the OPED Fiscal Officer, Courtney Heinzel, introduced earlier this evening, has been serving in multiple roles, including that of a budget analyst, as well as in the role of Supervisor of Fiscal Services. Dallas Whitford is not present tonight. However, he rounds out this budget team with his years of experience, which are second to none. And in addition, Naya Rao, the city's chief accountant, is also here with us tonight and is always ready to lend her support to the team. Our divisions include accounting, budget, payroll, fleet services, tax and revenue, and central services, or otherwise known as purchasing. And our core functions in OBM include financial management. We oversee finance, budgeting, payroll, and the forecasting and budgeting. We develop and manage budgets for 12 agencies, covering the major funds such as the general fund, the motor fuel tax fund, the capital improvement fund, and additional funds are special revenue funds, internal service funds, and capital funds. We do the compliance and the reporting. We ensure GAAP compliance, the payroll and tax reporting, the grant reporting with the single audit, the U.S. Treasury reporting for our ARPA funds, and our state GATA, the Government Accounting Transparency Act, compliance and reporting with that. We procure and have asset management. We comply with the purchasing law and bid management, as well as our fleet management services. And we provide fiscal training, and we collect vehicle use and hotel and motel tax. Our workforce, our authorized position request for finance staff in OBM is at 26 for the FY27 request. This increase is up a half person from budget year 26 as the grant coordinator shifts from being a split position between OPED and OBM to 100% within OBM. And OBM continues to compete for candidates with the state of Illinois. So our current vacancies consist of the grant coordinator, 2 staff accountants, division manager, a fiscal officer for OPED, 2 budget analysts, and a fleet tech apprentice. This slide for fiscal year 27 budget by fund displays the requested 107 OBM budget amounts by fund. In fiscal year 27, the largest allocation to Department 107 is for self-insurance, which is over 51.6 million, followed by the corporate fund at 17.7 million, and the capital improvement fund, which is often referred to as Fund 95, at 17.7 million. The South Central Business District is at 6.7 million, fleet maintenance at 6 million, the Northeast TIF at 2.6 million, the capital equipment fund at 2.5 million. And then there's other smaller funds like Lumber Lane TIF, the 8th and Capitol Parking Ramp, and unemployment escrow having minimal budgets under $100,000. The Northeast TIF and Lumber Lane TIF, they're not managed by OPED as there's not a home element to them. The Northeast TIF had a bond issue back in 2005, and half of the funds from that TIF are reserved for project use for public works, and the other 50% are returned to the county to be returned to the taxing districts. This slide includes a chart of the Department of Budget Management's budget by cost center. Some notable budget highlights include the total fiscal year 27 request at $98.8 million, and that is a decrease of 6% over fiscal year 26. And notable variances include the personal service lines at $7.88 million, which is up 6.48%, and that is mainly due to the health insurance. Is it? Let's see, yeah. Health. The increase is $479,000. Sorry, and that's mainly due to health insurance increases, which you're seeing in all of the budgets tonight for all of the departments. Contractual services at $50.57 million, up 8.78%, and that again is primarily the health insurance increases for the medical claims and prescription claims. Equipment, there's a significant decrease you see of 86.78%, and that is due to equipment purchased from bond proceeds concluding. The equipment is now being budgeted in the corporate fund for this projected budget. The EDP line, that includes new system costs and software upgrades. The operation of automobile equipment, that increase is from the fleet maintenance facility. Our current vehicle count, rough count today is 981 vehicles that are serviced by the fleet garage. Back 2 years ago, just something to keep in mind when you examine year-on-year variances, there was $600,000 that was returned as a credit to the shared services. The interfund transfer line, the variance includes the library and Fund 95. That line also includes Oak Ridge Cemetery and motor vehicle parking subsidies. And awards and grants, there is a large increase, 159.97%, and that is due to a $500,000 increase in available Northeast TIF funds, which will be spent on an IDOT project for Bissell Road, and that's a public works project, and there's actually $2.6 million available right now to spend on that project, as well as that includes us in that line a sports park, $2.1 million in incentive payments for sports park construction. The city's share of the 50% construction cost is $33.5 million. and that will be at the end. There's a combination of $25 million in construction bond draws and tax dollar incentives that we've collected that will translate to available incentives. Permanent improvements also has a sharp drop of almost 92%, and that is due to the public works facility, the garage, that was budgeted in '26 being deferred. And then we also have completed lake sewers that are also in that line. And then also South Central Business District city-owned infrastructure improvements of $1 million are in that variance. The debt service increase is due to principal payments on the GO bonds plus the 2024 sports complex bonds. And then the refunds, that is the city's share of sports park expenses. So you'll see that that is decreased almost 94%. This next slide shows OBM and general city expenses combined. Contractual services, that increase includes animal control as well as municipal center east and west expenses, utilities and maintenance expenses. The interfund transfer line is, again, library and capital improvement, Fund 95. And the table displayed in the next slide is of this chart in a pie chart format. And in the interfund transfers, which is the largest component and nearly half of the budget, the lines comprised of library, which is $4.6 million in subsidy, Oak Ridge at $500,000, Fund 94 and 95 at $2.875 million, and motor vehicle parking at $400,000. This slide includes OBM operating expenses only. And again, the personal service line includes health insurance increase, as well as the additional half person for the grant coordinator. The EDP line includes computer replacements as well as increased fees for CGI modules. The FY27 budget for fleet services, you'll see the personal service line variance. It includes the newly passed contract as well as health insurance increase. One thing to note is that this union contract, we are incentivizing for obtainment of advanced certifications. So I feel that's really important. Contractual services, that increase includes $50,000 of deep cleaning of the garage facility. The fleet maintenance facility has not been cleaned. It's 10 years old, and it's starting to look a little grungy. Walls, ceiling. So we are looking at cleaning that, so hopefully that's something that gets to happen this year. The operation of auto equipment, as mentioned on the previous slide, it represents the increased service costs for the fleet maintenance facility. And the permanent improvement, that would be a carport. They do a lot of work with small engines and mowers. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Thanks, Jeff. And we're also looking at adding an access door. In the center of the garage, there is no door to get out to the parking lot without going out either the front or the back and walking out. It needs a door. When you're in there, if you haven't been to the facility, I encourage you to stop by. It's open day, night. Just stop in, take a look, walk around. Because I know a lot of people haven't seen it. And I encourage you to just, it's an impressive facility. Our fleet consolidation savings estimate. This chart shows an assumption of 1.75% growth for the unconsolidated fleet expense that started in fiscal year 12, and then it was changed to a 3.25% increase, or rate, sorry, in fiscal year 22. We are estimating that by consolidating all of the garages, we are still saving $3.5 million a year. We currently have 18 technicians, and they operate over 2 shifts. The self-insurance fund. The budget is comprised mainly of the health insurance, which is 87% of the proposed budget. Workers' compensation is the next largest component at 7%, followed by the sick payout at 3%, and then general liability and property and casualty insurance is another combined 3% of the budget. The capital improvement fund, as previously mentioned, the permanent improvements dropped almost 92%, and that is the Public Works garage facility that was budgeted last year that has been deferred, as well as completed lake sewers. Okay. Our focus in FY27, we are finishing the implementation of the CGI system next week. However, even though we're finishing the upgrade, that's just the beginning of the process. Now we go on to the next phase, our post-go-live phase, where we will be implementing system changes that are needed, looking at grants, automating fixed assets. Currently, fixed assets are done manually. Every invoice is examined, and it's nearly everything in accounting is done on an Excel spreadsheet instead of through the system. One thing that Treasurer Figure mentioned last night was how we are going to be automating ACH. We are going to vendor self-service where our vendors will sign into the system. It will create their vendor code. They will enter their information, and we will be automated and enter the next phase of technology for the city. We also will be adding a Roth feature for our deferred compensation plans. Anyone have any questions?
Alderman Hanauer.
Thank you. Ramona, again, great job. I just have one issue, and it's been an issue for quite a few years, and the fleet management. We say we're saving money, but I think, so my question is the money savings from 2013 when we had, are we counting, we had, let's say we had 60 mechanics and now we're down to 18, and that's our savings. Probably when I talk to people from different departments, probably the number one thing that I get complaints about is the fleet. Firemen. We take a truck in for a light that's out. They don't have the light. They make us keep the truck there. We're out of service. We have to go get a different truck. And then the light comes in and that should be something that should be fixed right away. And then the light comes in, and then all of a sudden they get a bill for $1,000 for stuff that they don't want. I've heard horror stories about going in for an oil change. Now, you can go to any place and get synthetic oil on a regular car, and it's $100, probably less than that. And they're getting charged $400-500. And let me finish here if you don't mind. I just looked just real briefly. The police, from 2025 final to what the projection is in 2027, they went from 653,000 to 1.029 million. Fire, 770K to 1.098 million. The garage, and they went from 1.3 million to 2.1 million. The police, we've gotten rid of all the old cars, or most of them. They should be going down. And Mayor, I think that And it's just frustrating for me because I hear this stuff. I think the savings, yeah, from 2014 when we had 60 mechanics at 4 different garages, yeah, we've saved money. But I don't think that we're saving money when we're putting trucks out of service and it's taking forever and we're transferring money from each individual department. And if everything's the same, I realize parts go up, but we shouldn't be going up. Something's wrong. And I just would like to see a study or something about how efficient this really is, because yes, it does save money when you eliminate staff. Everybody knows that. That's easy. But after a certain point, you lose that savings. You can't call it savings when we're putting things out of service that don't need to be. And there's stories, I know Larry's got stories from when he worked. I hear it all over. And you know, you go in for something like a windshield wiper, next thing you know, you got to have 4 new tires. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And so I really wish, and it's not, first of all, I don't understand why you're over the fleet system. That doesn't seem to make sense whatsoever. You're a money person. You're not a car person, you know, I mean.
I know. It's because OBM is considered independent.
Well, I would like that to, we've heard about this for, I can't tell you how long, Mayor, and I just really wish we would really get somebody to come in and really take a good hard look at this.
I'm actually shocked at your comments because I really thought you were going to complain about Napa.
No, I don't.
Totally
that's
shocked.
a whole nother thing. But my point is, okay, why can't we get a contract with Valvoline oil change and get them for $50 when we're getting charged at the garage $400 or whatever it is?
So
That's my
Ramona
point.
just recently hired a brand new fleet manager. Do you want to touch on your manager?
So our new fleet manager, he's been with the city for about 6 months, and he is looking into a lot of these things, and he is analyzing, and we are working on what the best options are going forward. So we are looking at that. It's going to take a few months to get there. I mean, I would love for March 1st for me to come in with a supplemental and say, we've got a whole new plan.
And I appreciate that. I'm glad to see some movement.
A lot of the stories, though, some of those are old, like the billing, that stuff doesn't happen like that anymore. So they don't actually see that initial bill, so that's what's the different part.
So you're hiding it from them.
No,
you're hiding
it's all
it from them.
insured
That's what the
services.
difference is.
We have a lot of reports. And I'm not hiding any. Even AssetWorks, we're using AssetWorks. We're expanding our AssetWorks. AssetWorks has a component for even inventory management. So we are looking into all possibilities.
And I'm kidding you on the hiding.
Oh,
but
I know.
It's
I didn't take it.
They are analyzing it, though. I wanted her to touch on that. So.
Thank you.
We're looking at it very seriously.
Alderman Rockford.
Yes, thank you, Chair. So Ramona, I will call you and come see you, and you can kind of show me paperwork, the paperwork and how we're saving, because I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Everybody's getting charged more, and I know that, it's not a bash on the garage or nothing, and I'm not gonna sit here and bash you or anybody else, but I'd like to come see you, and, I've experienced it. I did it for many years, and so I agree a lot with what Ralph said, and I could tell you stories, but that'll be in your office, so.
Like year to date right now, work orders are up 5%. Our 12 months ending in October, our outsourced body work for mainly police cars that have been in accidents, that's up 29%. So our parts costs, we still, just the cost of everything has gone up as well. So.
No, and
We've
I
got
get that,
information and
but
we've got
there's,
data.
we closed down a body shop, we got rid of employees, we combined everybody. Why, do we still have Napa?
Yes.
Well, back in the day, you know, we were told we don't have parts, and we have to wait on parts, and that's the thing that gets me, and,
They're waiting on parts
yeah,
right now.
so-
We-
I'll get hold of you and we'll talk. Thank you.
Thank you,
Chair.
Alderwoman Conley.
I'll be very brief. I just want to say, I'm also hearing these same complaints. And I know things have changed and I've heard that, but just, please prioritize whatever reviews and efficiencies and analysis you have. I think it needs to be shared not just with council, but with all the departments, because this is something that I hear on a I mean, not a super regular basis. People, apparently I don't have a face where people talk to me about cars, but I do hear this complaint also, and look forward to hearing what kind of findings you have. So we'll give your guy another week or two to get his. Thank you.
That's about what I'm giving him too.
Wonderful.
I wanted it,
Thank you
I
very
wanted it
much.
tonight.
Thank you, Director. The chair will entertain a motion to
So moved.
recess this meeting until, this workshop, until Thursday, January 22nd, 2026 at 5:30 PM in this chamber.
Yes, sir.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Everyone have a nice evening. And up Thursday of next week is police, fire, and CWLP.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
No, that was last night.